afternoon as well, so stay with us or check back for updates from the WSB 24-hour traffic center. You're going to need that coat all day long. Sunny, windy, and cold, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Afternoon highs only in the lower 50s. How's the weekend looking? She'll have Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast. That comes your way at 12:05. A man and a woman from out of state plead guilty after being stopped in Coweta County with a big stash of drugs.
Keisha Jackson Murchison of Massachusetts is stopped for speeding on I-85 in Coweta County. Police find several bags of marijuana in the car. They arrest her passenger, Oscar Waters, a convicted drug dealer from Virginia. She grabs a backpack and large duffel bag, runs across 3 lanes of traffic barefoot. After catching her in the woods, officers find fentanyl, powder and crack cocaine, and heroin in those bags. Police say Waters hired Jackson Murchison to drive to Alabama, where Waters intended to distribute the drugs. Sentencing for both is set for February. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
Every member of the state's Maternal Mortality Review Committee has been given their walking papers. The committee investigates deaths of pregnant women, and its work is to be confidential. In fact, they all have to sign confidentiality agreements. The move to disband the committee was made after confidential information was shared with ProPublica. An investigation by the state could not uncover which member shared that information, so the state's letting them all go. And they will put together a new committee following an application process. A popular anxiety drug is facing an expanded recall. Some cartons of the drug, called clonazepam, have the incorrect drug strength on it, and it could possibly be life-threatening. The drug maker has listed codes of this recalled lot on its website. We're working to get the story up on our website as well. There have been no reports of anybody experiencing adverse effects connected to this recalled product just yet. So take a look, make sure you're not impacted. Drought conditions remain in metro Atlanta. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards says that we have gotten over 3 inches of rain over the past several days, which is about half an inch more than the average monthly rainfall for the month of November.
However, that rain occurred after a lengthy stretch of dry weather, where nearly 50 days have passed since Atlanta received any rainfall.
And as a result, we are still in a moderate drought. And then there's this.
While the dryness in the east has led to wildfires and water shortages, it's the drought across the Great Plains that has led to higher beef prices, which may linger into next year. That's because there is less vegetation to feed livestock, which has sometimes led to herds being culled early.
Gina Cervetti says as much as 50% of the winter wheat crop is also in danger because of the drought. And speaking of food, legislation making the Beagle Brigade permanent has passed the U.S. Senate. The USDA Training Center for the Noonan-based Beagle Brigade trains dogs to detect pests and diseases that threaten the domestic agriculture industry. Georgia Senator Raphael Warnock says the Dog Training Center plays an essential role in keeping our food supply safe from contamination. The bill will now go to the House. Ready for some football? It's the start of a Georgia Bulldog weekend here on WSB.
8 straight conference games takes a toll on the Bulldogs.
We have been battered and bruised, but not running from anyone.
The Minutemen come to Athens with a 2-8 record, which includes 2 losses to SEC teams. Offensive guard Tate Ratledge says no matter the opponent, they have to play to a standard.
It's more about what we do and focusing on us every week and seeing how we can get better.
Georgia's senior class has never lost at home, and they've won 50 games since 2021. Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
All right, so be sure and join us tomorrow. Pregame action starting at 8:45, kickoff at 12:45. All the action right here on your home of the Georgia Bulldogs. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. We're going to start in the WSB 24-hour traffic center. Veronica Harrell has a look at the roads this Friday afternoon.
And right now, dealing with the travel advisory, Sabrina, over on 75 northbound. It's north of Highway 155. That's exit 216. The 2 left lanes are closed, really slowing things down out of Locust Grove. Think about using Highway 4223. Moving elsewhere, looks like there's some new trouble over on the West Freeway. I-20 eastbound as you approach Highway 5, causing delays through Winston. And then another travel advisory, this time on the west side of town. It's the outer loop, 285 southbound, just below Hollowell Parkway, exit 12. It blocks the 2 right lanes. Use the downtown connector, 7585. I'm Veronica Harrell, 95.5 WSB.
It's time now for Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast, sponsored here at noon by Shoemate, the official heating of winter. Here's WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards.
A few clouds passing by today as an upper-level low pushes more cold air into the metro region. Temperatures will stay in the upper 40s, low 50s through the afternoon. Wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. Chilly for tonight as temperatures fall to the mid-30s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 56. A warm-up begins on Sunday. Morning low 39, afternoon high 62. Partly cloudy on Monday, morning low 43, afternoon high 68. A cold front brings morning rain showers on Tuesday, then afternoon sunshine, high 65.
As we take a look at WSB Storm Tracker radar, it is clear with no rain. We have sunshine right now in Midtown Atlanta, and it's 48 degrees, 49 in Winder. And in Dunwoody, you have more sun than clouds, 47 degrees there. And that next chance of rain, again, it arrives Tuesday morning. So be sure and stay with us. We'll let you know when that rain is moving in and what portions of the metro area might get it. And if you're planning your weekend and your evening, the sunset tonight, 5:31, so get what you got to get done early this afternoon. More news at 12:30, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hello, America. Welcome. It's Eric Erickson here across the United States of America. And boy, am I glad to have you with me today. The phone number, 877-973-7425. It's an open line Friday, but I'm probably about to make some of you mad. So I just told Charlie, keep the phone lines closed for a little while because some of your tempers are going to have to settle down here. We need to talk about Matt Gaetz a little bit more. I didn't want to, but we got to. I had two ladies accuse me of gaslighting everybody, which I do actually take a little bit of offense at. Last Thursday on this program, I pointed out a couple of things about why Matt Gaetz's nomination to be Attorney General was genius. It took Matt Gaetz out of the House of Representatives, where no one wanted him there. He would not have the votes to get confirmed by the United States Senate, and it shut down the ethics report on him. By taking him out of the House, it shut down the ethics report on him. You know, interestingly enough, here's the thing. We're going to be able to see just how serious the actual allegations are, because technically Matt Gaetz resigned from this Congress. And he's a congressman-elect for the next Congress. And legally, according to a bunch of lawyers, because Ron DeSantis has not actually called for a special election yet, Matt Gaetz could go back to Congress on January 3rd as the congressman for his congressional district. Now, if he actually does that, well, then maybe the ethics report's not so bad. If he decides he's done with Congress, I think we can suggest the ethics report probably had some damning stuff in it, and by getting gone, he got rid of it. So, yeah, the Matt Gaetz ploy was genius. It got him out of the House where nobody wanted him. It keeps him out of the Attorney General's office where the Senate wasn't going to vote to do that for him, and it blocked the report. But those were the effects. They weren't the intentions, and I said this last week. And so I've been ridiculing all the people claiming this was some bold 4D chess play, and people on Twitter like, you're gaslighting us. We heard you talking about the genius last week. You clearly, you heard what you wanted to hear and not what I actually said, because I made very clear in my monologue last week and in my writings, including a nationally syndicated column, that the effects and the intention weren't the same thing. Donald Trump wanted Matt Gaetz to be Attorney General. And the problem here is people have gotten stupid. The number of people who call this program to explain to me that Donald Trump is a genius and this is a 4D chess play, that somehow or another he really wanted Pam Bondi. You didn't have to have Matt Gaetz to get Pam Bondi. No one was going to object to Pam Bondi being the Attorney General pick, even if Matt Gaetz hadn't been picked. The theory, so there are two competing theories. The first theory is that you needed Matt Gaetz to be the nominee, so he would say, oh my God, this is terrible, give us someone else. Okay, here's someone worse than Matt Gaetz, and you're going to say, oh, this person's so much better than Matt Gaetz, we'll confirm him. You didn't need that with Pam Bondi. There was no reason to go through the kabuki theater of Matt Gaetz in order to get Pam Bondi. And the other brilliance, and there's a genius who came after me on social media last night when I was ridiculing this idea of 4D chess. He's like, you don't understand. This greases the skids for Pam Bondi. And someone other than me says, you really actually are arguing that he needed to nominate Matt Gaetz first in order to get someone like Pat Bondi, and the guy says, no, that's not what I'm saying at all. You literally had just tweeted that it greased the skids for Pat Bondi, but now you're doing this 3-card Monty where you're shuffling everything around to try to always win an argument that you're too stupid to actually make. And he says, this is actually, it makes it easier for Pete Hegseth and Robert Kennedy Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard. By having Gaetz out there, it actually makes it easier to confirm these three. There's just a problem with the logic. Matt Gaetz didn't last a week. You would have some credibility for the argument that this was 4D chess had Matt Gaetz not withdrawn less than 7 days after his nomination. The confirmation hearing, you do understand the confirmation hearings aren't going to start until January, right? Having Matt Gaetz withdraw less than a week later accomplishes no 4D chess move. Pam Bondi did not need to have Matt Gaetz nominated for people to say Pam Bondi's a good pick. Pam Bondi's an objectively good pick. Overwhelmingly, the Republican members of the Senate and even some of the Democrats, they're going to vote against her, but they don't have the objections they have to Matt Gaetz. They never would have had those. She's a pro forma pick almost, if you will. I don't mean that in a negative way. She's just a highly competent, conservative attorney general. She could have been the first pick, and Donald Trump wouldn't have had to expend a week spending political capital to try to save Matt Gaetz. This is the larger point here, and it goes to Dahlia Lithwick as well. Dahlia Lithwick is a dim-witted progressive writer, broken by Trump, as some Trump supporters are, who actually penned a piece last week after the Gaetz nomination. Here's the headline: "The Senate will absolutely confirm Matt Gaetz." And the subtitle: "If you think these Republicans are going to stand up to Donald Trump, you've not been paying attention." Dahlia Lithwick is a very progressive writer. She hates the conservatives on the Supreme Court. She writes, "We are now engaged in what we in the press like to call a spirited debate about the confirmation prospects of one Matt Gaetz, the galactically unqualified, incredibly accused sexual predator, to be the chief law enforcement officer of the United States. During Donald Trump's first term in office, Gaetz was embroiled in a lengthy sex trafficking investigation involving a minor opened under Attorney General Bill Barr. He has now narrowly avoided learning the results of a House Ethics Committee probe over those same allegations, including sexual misconduct. All that considered, of course it makes sense that this would come down to an apprentice-style nail-biter as to whether he can garner the votes necessary to be confirmed to the job of running the organization that was once investigating him. And since Gaetz has not a scintilla of expertise or experience necessary to run the massive law enforcement agency, it stands to reason that the only urgently important question facing the nation is whether 4 Republican senators might dig deep and find it within themselves to say as much. If you care about such things, there are loads of senatorial quotes to be mined for meeting." But the bottom line is there's no way the Senate Republicans will ever stand up to Donald Trump. They will give him the cabinet pick. She ends, "We've entered the stage of Trumpist collapse in which people who seek to harm those seen as insufficiently loyal are being promoted over those with actual skills or vision or politics. Matt Gaetz is the open threat of violence and targeted prosecution that follows a refusal to take seriously the veiled threat of violence and targeted prosecution. They broke it. They bought it. Far too late to suggest they can return what he will be selling." And yet, they stood up to him. Progressives and some Trump supporters together, they've all had their brains broken by Donald Trump. He's either the smartest man to ever walk the planet or the most criminal Nazi-like thing since Adolf Hitler. Neither is true. But everybody's on team sport and everybody's emotional about it. It's like when your team sucks on the field and Carson Beck keeps throwing interceptions, like, oh, it's the refs. The refs threw the game. Having a not very good quarterback. No, we got to call him the greatest quarterback ever. He's somehow some genius, Mensa level quarterback who keeps throwing interceptions, losing to Ole Miss for God's sakes, but somehow genius. It's all 4D chess. It's the same thing with Donald Trump. It's the same thing. It's always the refs. It's always the other side. It's somebody else to blame. It's never that, he wanted Matt Gaetz. He wanted Matt Gaetz because according to the best sourced people, He decided that the other guys would not be his agent. They would have an independent streak for the Attorney General, and he didn't want that because he had it with Jeff Sessions and Bill Barr. He wanted his guy, his loyal guy, and Matt Gaetz was a loyal SOB, and he wanted that loyal SOB. The effects were, as I said, gets him out of the House. He's not going to get confirmed, all that, but that's not the intention. And after a week, Donald Trump said, you know what? It's not worth the fight. We got other fights to pick. And Matt Gaetz withdrew after Donald Trump told him to stand down and withdraw his nomination. People always make way too much of the happenings in Donald Trump's orbit. His supporters always think there's some super brilliant secret Hail Mary pass that's going to work. And his detractors believe that there's no thought, there's guttural reaction, and everyone's going to bend to his will because no one's willing to stand up to Donald Trump. 12 senators, at least, stood up to Donald Trump and privately made sure, including Markwayne Mullin of Oklahoma, that there's no way Gaetz had the votes. So he stepped down. Now, there are a lot of people who have speculated that, the House Ethics Committee really wasn't that bad. This was all pretext and there was subtext. House Ethics Committee really isn't that bad. If Matt Gaetz tries to go back into the House as a congressman-elect into the next Congress without there being a special election, that ethics report comes back. So Gaetz can do it legally. Ron DeSantis hasn't called a special election yet. As a result, Gaetz could change his mind. They could retract his resignation. Never been done before. But Matt Gaetz is a man without shame. He could do it. Or maybe the ethics report really is pretty damning and he doesn't want it to come out. And the House has decided it's not going to come out since he's not a member of Congress. That's their rule. When a member of Congress steps aside before a House Ethics Committee report comes out, they never release a report. They never have in the past. And even with Gaetz, 3 Republicans and 3 Democrats together decided not to do it. Only 1 Democrat on the House Ethics Committee voted to release the report as far as we know. But everyone wants to conflate all these things into some sort of 4D chess. And if I tell you the truth and you misunderstand me, I'm gaslighting you. I'm not gaslighting you. I'm trying to help you understand what's going on. I've got really good sources, whether you want to believe it or not. But there are too many people who have turned their hatred of Trump or their love of Trump into something emotional, and reason breaks down with these people. Look, I don't like Trump. I get it. But the amount of people who tell me I can't process something because I have Trump derangement syndrome, I'm not deranged by Donald Trump. I know what he is. I supported him. I gave him money. Many of the people who attacked me never gave him a penny. But I can navigate what's going on because I have great sources in his orbit, in the Senate, in the House. I can call him. I can talk to him. And yet people want to imagine things. If it's 4D chess, he wouldn't have dropped out in less than a week when confirmation hearings don't start until January. And to those of you on the left who are already speculating, I see the Bulwark guys are already running a fundraiser that Donald Trump could stay past 2028. Donald Trump could stay in office. Someone could make him vice president and then he could push him out and become president again. It could happen. No, it can't happen under the plain text of the United States Constitution. It can't happen, but you're trying to fundraise off of it. Everybody has turned this into a grift. The amount of people who are making money off Donald Trump, there are more people making money off Donald Trump than Donald Trump is making off of Donald Trump right now, scaring people on both sides. I'm a very bad grifter. All I can do is tell you what's going on and make you smarter and more informed than the rest of your friends, and then some people get mad at me for telling them what's actually happening and then accuse me of gaslighting because they misunderstood my point, and then they get insulted and upset. And all I can do is try to tell you guys what's happening. And what's happening is Donald Trump wanted Matt Gaetz to be his attorney general, thought that he could threaten the senators with primaries by Elon Musk, and they stood up to him. And now he's got a really good attorney general. Pam Bondi's going to be a great pick, and she'll get confirmed. And now, because it wasn't a 4D pick, there's plenty of time to focus on getting rid of people like Kennedy, which pro-lifers should be doing.
Want to be on the show?
Hello? I love your show.
Call Eric now at 877-973-7425.
1220 in the Coolway Carrier WSB 24-hour traffic center. It is a rough go of it as you make your way out of Locust Grove. Travel advisory crash 75 northbound north of Highway 155. That is exit 218. It blocks the two left lanes. Tough delays. Go ahead and use Highway 4223 to avoid that. Elsewhere, you're dealing with construction over in a right lane, 285 westbound. It is just past Flat Shoals Parkway, exit 48. And also still a travel advisory with a crash, 285 southbound the outer loop at Hollowell Parkway, exit 12. It blocks the two right lanes. I'm Veronica Harrell, 95.5 WSB.
When news breaks,
Prosecution claims that on February 22nd, Ibarra went hunting for women on the UGA campus.
we've got it covered.
I hope justice is served for her, not only because I'm her father, but because she deserves it.
With news at the top and bottom of every hour.
And when it breaks,
I find the defendant guilty. I sentence you to life without the possibility of parole.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's breaking news station.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? Well, that's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They'll handle repairs on your old home and make price-boosting upgrades at no upfront cost. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Are the effects of diabetes, prostate cancer, hypertension, or high cholesterol robbing you of your ability to perform in the bedroom? Choice Men's Health can help you eliminate ED and get your bedroom performance back in just one visit. Choice Men's Health offers breakthrough treatments for ED and performance issues in the bedroom to help you regain your confidence and give you back the intimacy with your partner. Call Choice Men's Health right now to make an appointment and find out how you can eliminate ED on the first visit. Popular name brand pills like Viagra and Cialis don't work for everyone and can have serious side effects. Choice Men's Health custom medications work immediately, even if you have a medical history or think you're too old to perform like you used to. Choice Men's Health can help you have a fulfilling sex life again. Call Choice Men's Health today at 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170. Once again, that's 404-400-1170.
Hey, it's Mark Aram here with an amazing way to make this a stress-free holiday season. Heat and serve traditional feasts from my friends at Publix. Order now and make your holiday gathering one to remember. Check out the turkey dinner. It includes a fully cooked turkey, old-fashioned cornbread dressing, delicious home-style Yukon Gold mashed potatoes, cranberry orange relish, marshmallow delight, and no Thanksgiving is complete without delicious home-style gravy. Just make sure you order these items in advance. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
City of Hope. We're more than just a top-ranked cancer hospital. For over 100 years, we've been making breakthroughs, pushing the limits of what's possible, targeting cancer at the molecular level, pioneering treatments used worldwide. At City of Hope, your entire cancer-fighting team is bound together by a single mission: to cure your cancer. And now City of Hope is closer than ever, providing patients in Metro Atlanta the cancer care they deserve. Learn more at cityofhope.org.
Need to get organized? You need to talk to Spacemakers Custom Closets. From closets and pantries to garages and more, Spacemakers will help you get organized. Schedule your free in-home consultation now at spacemakersclosets.com. Spacemakers Custom Closets, an artisan family brand.
Shane Company is your go-to destination for high-quality fine jewelry gifts. Come find beautiful gifts at competitive prices, from dream engagement rings to tennis bracelets, engravable charms, and more. All in stock and ready to give. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Your non-stop news source. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
You can be live on Eric's show by calling 877-97-ERIC. That's 877-973-7425.
Greetings, welcome, I should say, when I turn the microphone on. Give Jim a heart attack over there as I start talking. What's going on? The phone number here, it's an open line Friday. We'll open the phone lines now, 877-973-7425, should you wish to be on the program. I got to ruffle feathers with friends right now. I actually am kind of horrified at the silence of the pro-life community over the idea of putting a pro-abortion progressive in charge of 1/4 of the federal budget. Robert Kennedy Jr. believes the government should not regulate abortion through birth. Whether you say it's state level or not, Robert Kennedy Jr., if he's Secretary of Department of Health and Human Services, will oversee 1/4 of the entire federal budget. And he will oversee drug authorizations. He will oversee restrictions. He will oversee hospital regulations. He will oversee many, many things. And the pro-life community, instead of fighting Robert Kennedy Jr.'s pick, has decided, well, we'll put some people underneath him. He's going to be the head of HHS. He will be in the line of succession to the President of the United States, not the people under him. And you're okay with this? You're not willing to speak up? Here's the thing. If you're not willing to speak up as a pro-life activist against Robert Kennedy Jr., a pro-abortion gun control activist in charge of the Department of Health and Human Services, you are a paper tiger. No one's going to take you seriously, nor should anyone. If you're more worried about your seat at the table than you are actually speaking out on your values, everyone's going to know you're a cheap date. You've got a bunch of Republican senators that you could be pressuring to reject Robert Kennedy Jr. Matt Gaetz is out of the way. He's not a distraction. You should be training your fire. So should the gun activists, by the way. The Second Amendment activists, you should be trying to stop a gun control activist from being in charge of 1/4 of the federal budget. I am really appalled at the social conservatives out there who, because Robert Kennedy Jr. agreed with you on COVID and red dye number 5, you're willing to sell out the rest of your long-held principles on life and the Second Amendment because you don't want to anger Donald Trump. You're afraid you won't get a seat at the table. If you're that afraid of giving up a seat at the table, you don't have one to begin with because they know they don't have to take you seriously. If you fight and try to win and signal every one of these appointments like this is going to be a fight, they're not going to fight you because time is more precious for them than you. So fight and end the nomination of Robert Kennedy. Now, let me tell you, my new Eden Pure Thunderstorm, it is fantastic and it works. And not only does it kill bacteria and viruses, it eliminates odors, gets rid of pet dander, it gets rid of pollen, it gets rid of dust in the air with electrostatic plates. It is fantastic. And you can get 3 of them still and save $200 and get them for less than $200, even though they're new and improved, by going to EdenPureDeals.com and putting in the discount code ERIC3. ERICK, the number 3, at EdenPureDeals.com. You'll get 3 Eden Pure Thunderstorms. They really do eliminate all the odors. There's not an odor that can stand up to it. And now it generates plasma that latches onto bacteria and viruses and eliminates them as well. So it cleans and purifies the air. And it gets rid of dust, pollen, and dander. Get 3 of them, upstairs, downstairs, your basement, travel bag. You can hold them in your hand wherever you need them. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code ERIC3, ERICK3.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic, 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. Happening right now, a mother is killed in a drive-by shooting. Police on the scene right now in Swanee off Buford Highway. This is on Baxley Village Trail. Police telling Channel 2 Action News that a neighbor opened fire during a targeted drive-by. Swanee Captain Robert Thompson.
The suspect actually lives in the same neighborhood. It's another house not too far from here.
He says the shooter tried to get away but was stopped by police and is now in custody. The mother, who was in her 40s, was in the kitchen at the time of that shooting. She died at the hospital. Your weather for this afternoon: sunny skies, windy and cold. We're not going to get out of the lower 50s, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up in just a matter of minutes. Thanksgiving is next week, and holiday travel is getting underway in full swing today. It's expected to be the busiest day at Atlanta's big airport. The TSA's Anisha Kareem says they're working to make sure that there are plenty of officers at security checkpoints to account for the jump in travelers.
We will do our best to screen standard passengers in under 30 minutes. And passengers enrolled in TSA PreCheck in under 10 minutes.
Over 370,000 travelers expected to pass through the airport today. This is new here at 12:30. Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens releasing his 2024 Summer Youth Employment Program report, and he calls it a big success, with those in the program this year making an average of $18 an hour.
To be able to see them go from, their first job to one day they're going to be standing behind this podium saying some positive words about the city of Atlanta and passing it on to the next generation. So that's that gives me a soft spot in my heart to see all this come to fruition.
He says the continued growth of the work-based learning program is critical to the future of Atlanta's workforce. He's already recruiting business partners for next year. It's 12:32.
As you all know, it's Eric here, by the way. I have been traveling a lot. Before the election and after the election, it's been nonstop travel. And all I've wanted to do was get in my hot tub in the backyard and watch the stars and just relax. Thanks to Georgia Spa Company, I'm able to do it. In fact, my wife, who trains for strongman competition, we got one from Georgia Spa Company that actually has a lounge, I guess you can say, a chaise lounge with the massagers for the muscles, and she's been using it too. Super relaxing, very quiet, very therapeutic, an oasis in our backyard. And right now, if you're thinking about one, well, you got Black Friday coming up, and they've got some incredible sales going on at the Georgia Spa Company. They've got 6 Metro Atlanta locations. You can check them out at georgiaspacompany.com. You get an oasis in your backyard, your own personal retreat, and I can tell you, someone who's put in thousands of miles in just the last few weeks, all I want to do is get to my backyard. georgiaspacompany.com.
You know the old expression, I love it when a plan comes together? Well, with our First Liberty Notes, this has been so true. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. You hear about our family's company all the time right here on the station. For over 30 years, we've been the local lender who said yes when the big banks say no. A couple of months ago, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Folks from airline pilots to physicians to even pastors are now earning 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of local small businesses. If you're a qualified investor with a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. Go to firstlibertyga.com and see if our First Liberty Notes are right for you. Go to firstlibertyga.com. That's firstlibertyga.com.
First Liberty Notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. SEC accredited investor status must be verified. Securities not offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
Norwegian Cruise Line's Black Friday preview sale is finally here. Enjoy huge savings with 50% off all cruises and NCL's all-new More at Sea package, including unlimited open bar, specialty dining, and more. Visit ncl.com, call your travel advisor, or 1-888-NCL-CRUISE. Offer ends soon. Norwegian Cruise Line ships registry the Bahamas and USA. Restrictions apply.
Live traffic and weather. Here's Veronica Harrell.
And still talking about delays, some type of trouble really holding you up over on 985 southbound. That ramp to State Route 20, exit 4. You are dealing with a slow ride as you travel through the Buford area. Moving elsewhere, crash pretty much off to the right now. 285 southbound, the outer loop over at Hallowell Parkway, exit 12, but delays remain. And a crash is over in the left lane, I-20 eastbound before Highway 5, exit 34, causing delays through Douglas County. I'm Veronica Harrell, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies, breezy and chilly today. Highs in the upper 40s, low 50s. Wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour.
More news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Smart, fearless, and occasionally funny. You're listening to The Eric Erickson Show.
Hello, my fellow Americans. How are you? The phone number here, 877-973-7425. If you'd like to be on the program, I got to thank you guys. We raised hundreds of thousands of dollars to help feed people in need this holiday season. You guys did it, not me. Thank you. Thank you very much. What a generous audience. You guys are a real blessing to me. So thank you very much. We've spent a lot of time on the Trump stuff. We got to spend some time on the Biden stuff, because there are a number of problems. One of which is there's a report in the New York Post. The Biden administration is lowering the standards for admission of illegal aliens into this country. They're processing people faster. Now, I want to step back. And I want to call your attention to a graphic that a website put up, sanctuary regions of the United States. And among those are California, New York, Illinois, Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Delaware. There are portions of some states, Colorado, Utah. How is Utah a sanctuary state? North Dakota. How is North Dakota a sanctuary state? Oregon and Washington. You know what a lot of those places have in common is they're losing population, we know from the census numbers in 2030. California, New York, Illinois, Colorado, Oregon, Washington, they're losing population in the census. All these are reliably blue areas of the country, and they're losing population according to the census. So by 2030, California, for example, will lose 4 seats in the Congress, which means their electoral college vote will go down by 4. Texas's will go up by 4. If you get rid of all the illegal aliens in the country, California could lose 8 seats given their population of illegal aliens. Remember, the census counts everyone in the United States, not just citizens. And congressional apportionment is based on that number, not citizens. So the census counts citizens, resident aliens, and illegal aliens. The only thing the census doesn't count are transient visitors. So someone comes over to the country for a month and then goes home, they're not counted. But if you're here, if you reside in the United States, citizen or not, legal or illegal, you're counted. And then that number determines the number of seats in the House of Representatives you get. And then your electoral college vote is the number of seats you have in the United States House plus 2. So if you have 50 seats, or in California's case, you have 52 seats in the United States House of Representatives, you have 54 members of the Electoral College, 52 plus 2. Why 2? Because that's your number of senators. Your Electoral College is your number of members of Congress plus your 2 senators. Georgia, for example, has 16 Electoral College votes because Georgia has 14 members of the U.S. House and 2 members of the U.S. Senate. And every state has 2 members of the Senate. So these states that are propping up these sanctuary cities, they're padding their numbers in Congress and the Electoral College and for government benefits. Because when the government block grants money, they block grant based on the census data as well. So the more people you have, the more money you get. That's what they're doing. The Biden administration here at the end is opening the floodgates for as many illegal aliens to come into the country. And then what's happening separate from that is members of the press are running fear scenarios on behalf of the Democrats that if you allow these people, or if the government deports these people, everyone's going to starve to death because no one's going to pick the crops. Grandmothers are going to die. It's simply not true. It's simply not true. But they don't care about the truth. They care about scaring people. They care about lying. They care about telling you the Democrats' narrative. And they want to do that to win elections. Neither side these days is particularly committed to the truth. They're committed to their story. They'll leave out facts for you to believe their side of the story. And the left has so much of the media to help them. The left has ABC, CBS, NBC, PBS, CNN, MSNBC, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post, the USA Today. About the only conservative paper, slightly so, is the Wall Street Journal, and its reporters lean to the left. Its editorial page just happens to be conservative. And the problem isn't just illegal immigration. The Biden administration has realized there's still a lot of money outstanding from the Inflation Reduction Act, which is the Green New Deal, and the Microchips Act, or the CHIPS Act, that'll allow the repatriation of microchip building facilities in this country. And they are working to spend every penny before they leave. They want no money left for Donald Trump to be able to spend or stop spending. Now, there was a law passed during the Nixon administration. In fact, if there's one thing Republicans should do, is there's a law that was passed in the Nixon administration when Richard Nixon decided not to spend some money. And Congress passed a law, overrode Nixon's veto. And the law said that if Congress appropriates money, the executive shall spend it. So the Biden administration is hiding behind this law, saying, well, we shall spend the money. And they've rushed out to spend as much money as they possibly can before the Trump administration comes in. But wait, it's not just illegal aliens, and it's not just spending money. They're also rushing to get as many arms into the hands of the Ukrainians because they're convinced Donald Trump is going to stop sending armaments to Ukraine. And here's a problem. As you know, I support Ukraine. But there are common sense ways to support and insane ways to support, and the Biden administration at the end has chosen the insane way. Here's the thing. So here's the way the situation has been structured with Ukraine is we loan them money. The loans are guaranteed not just by Ukraine but by Europe. So if Ukraine faults, Europe agreed they'll pay us back the money. Ukraine then takes that money and sends it back to our arms manufacturers who send them weapons. Or what Ukraine does is it takes our money and it buys weapons, NATO weapons, from Poland and Germany and the Czech Republic and Great Britain. And then those countries send money to us and say, hey, we need new arms. We sold ours to Ukraine. And then after our companies have gotten the money from Ukraine for the weapons, either directly or indirectly through these other countries, then Ukraine still pays the money back to the United States government because it's a loan. Two problems with this approach now. The Biden administration has announced they want to see if legally they can forgive the loan payment so that it's not a loan. That's improper. They shouldn't be able to do this. Congress structured it as a loan. The executive should not be able to forgive the loan. They want to see if they can forgive the loan. The other thing they're doing, and the far more dangerous thing they're doing, is they're not waiting for Ukraine to purchase the weapons. They're sending the weapons. Pay us back later. Here's everything you have. We got to get out the door, 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 out the door. Get it all out the door before Trump comes in. The problem is in doing so, they're lowering our stockpiles of weapons. Now, this had been a complaint from people all along this was going to happen, and it wasn't so much of a big deal because of the way they were flowing the money, the rate of exchange, the rate of armaments to Ukraine. But they've sped it up so much to get all the weapons and money out the door before Trump comes in that they actually are depleting our stockpiles of weapons now. All the stuff people warned about before wasn't really happening, and now it is because they're rushing. They're undermining our national security to help Ukraine. They're undermining our national debt and deficit to help Ukraine. I support helping Ukraine, but not like this. This is this is playing with fear. You know, Donald Trump actually was willing to give Ukraine weapons when he was president, and it was the Democrats that blocked it. Donald Trump was willing to defend Ukraine against Russia, and it was the Democrats that stopped him. Donald Trump was willing to work with Ukraine, and the Democrats said no. All the things the Democrats tell you about how pro-Russia Donald Trump is, Donald Trump was harder on Russia than Barack Obama was. Donald Trump imposed more sanctions on Russia, evicted more Russians from the United States, blocked more Russians from coming to the United States, and was willing to fund and give arms to Ukraine. And the Democrats blocked that last part, and now they want to scare you that he's in the pocket of the Russians. It's not true. Never has been true. And now the Biden administration is undermining our national security in ways they previously weren't. But wait, there's more. It's not just allowing illegal aliens to flood in. It's not just spending as much money as they can get away with before Trump comes in. It's not just trying to give as many munitions to Ukraine before Trump comes in. It's also they're not helping the Israelis. They've slowed down aid for Israel. They're complicating that situation to leave a quagmire in the Middle East for Donald Trump to deal with. But wait, it's not just that. They're also rushing through last-minute regulations, although that one they've slowed down, and this is why. There's an act in Congress that Bill Clinton agreed to back when Clinton was president. They passed a law that said if an administration is rushing regulations in the last 6 months of an administration, the new Congress, by majority vote of each house without a filibuster, can repeal those regulations. So what the Biden administration very smartly did, it was one of the signs people pointed to thinking, realizing they're not sure they can pull this election off, is they rushed a lot of their regulations at the beginning of this year before the time frame for that veto measure. I forget exactly what it's called now. I used to know, and now all of a sudden it slipped my mind. But there's a deadline, and regulations enacted before the deadline can't be repealed bypassing the filibuster with a majority vote. But those after the deadline, 6 months, like it begins like June of the year of a presidential election. Any regulation that's enacted thereafter, if that president loses, the incoming administration, working with the Congress, can repeal any regulation by majority vote. It can't be filibustered. Rescission of regulation. So the Biden administration, though they're pushing, they're trying to overwhelm the system, although not as much as Obama did, to get in some regulations, thinking that maybe there won't be the votes there by the Republicans to get rid of them. They're trying to cause a series of messes for Donald Trump to have to deal with, abroad and at home. And the most damning is decreasing security at the border weaker than it already was, so they can fill up the sanctuary states with illegal aliens to pad their numbers for the 2030 census. Get these people settled, get them to start having families before the 2030 census, and they'll pad the numbers so they won't lose any representation in Congress. That's where we're headed with the Biden administration. Now I want you to head to oldglorybank.com and sign up today for a checking account, sign up today for a savings account. They do loans, they do mortgages, car loans, CDs, you name it. For businesses, they have great business checking. They've got great business options, great business loans as well. All you got to do is go to oldglorybank.com. Oldglorybank.com. It really is my bank. I've got a no-fee checking and a no-fee savings account. Now, I've got the basic checking with them. You can actually get a checking account that has more options. They're just fees with it, but you can do that. You can get a savings account with a great interest rate. You can get CDs. You start working with them, start banking with them. They do mortgages, home loans, car loans, lines of credit, you name it, equity loans. They're a full-service bank. You can even deposit cash. Unlike every other online bank out there, with Old Glory Bank, you can deposit cash. And if you're a business, you're not going to have your account canceled because you're conservative. This is a bank by conservatives for conservatives. All you have to do is go to oldglorybank.com. Oldglorybank.com. You can fill out the application. That's how I did it. Filled it out online. Took less than 8 minutes to do. Oldglorybank.com. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply.
You can follow Eric around on social media at EW Erickson on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And check him out at EWErickson.com.
1250 in the Cool Lake Carrier WSB 24-hour traffic center. A little better news now as you make your way out of Locust Grove. Crash is cleared 75 northbound north of Highway 155, exit 218, but still you are dealing with delays. This report brought to you by Georgia Pathways. If you're uninsured and working, volunteering, or pursuing higher education, you may be eligible for free health insurance through Georgia Pathways. Visit pathways.georgia.gov to learn more. I'm Veronica Harrell, 95.5 WSB.
When the news matters to you.
Georgia Power's John Kraft says a series of recent rate increases are also in play.
95.5 WSB has you covered.
Well, we could have some showers and strong storms this afternoon.
Your 24/7 news source. When you need the story, all you need to do is listen. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Even on our worst days, we can always find something to be thankful for. And we always have someone to be thankful to. Will you take my 5-minute thankfulness challenge? Spend 5 minutes every day for 30 straight days and thank God for everything you can think of to be grateful for, and see how much your life changes as a result. And then reach out to me at thisstuffmatters.net and let me know how it goes. This is Tom Gray, and This Stuff Matters.
thisstuffmatters.net.
Hey, it's Mark Aram here with an amazing way to make this a stress-free holiday season. Heat and serve traditional feasts from my friends at Publix. Order now and make your holiday gathering one to remember. Check out the turkey dinner. It includes a fully cooked turkey, old-fashioned cornbread dressing, delicious home-style Yukon Gold mashed potatoes, cranberry orange relish, marshmallow delight, and no Thanksgiving is complete without delicious home-style gravy. Just make sure you order these items in advance. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
If I said to focus your energy, where would you start? Let's say you run a business, a school campus, a hospital, or a government facility. Finding ways to save can be overwhelming, but Georgia Power has energy efficiency tips and rebates to help. Things like improving lighting with LEDs, making HVAC upgrades, adding building controls, and more. Look, you've got a business to run and numbers to hit. Georgia Power can help you focus your energy where it matters most. Learn more at georgiapower.com/biz.
Hi, I'm David Nicholas, financial advisor and president of Nicholas Wealth Management. But most importantly, I'm a husband and a father. The three most important things in my life are faith, family, and freedom. Unfortunately, I think we're facing threats to all three. The yahoos in Washington want to erode our wealth by inflation, regulation, and out-of-control spending. Deficits, robbed Social Security, and inflation have devalued our dollar and made raising a family nearly impossible. And frankly, I'm sick and tired of it. The federal government is 40% bigger today than it was before COVID. I think that means taxes are going higher. Don't let higher taxes devastate your retirement accounts. At Nicholas Wealth, we have CPAs and CFPs that can show you how to shelter your retirement accounts from higher taxes. Our Retire Ready tax analysis is a $1,000 value, but we'll provide it completely complimentary for callers who have saved more than $250,000 for retirement and give us a call in the next 10 minutes. The number to call is 404-890-5606. That's 404-890-5606, or you can go to nicholaswealth.com.
Nicholas Wealth is an independent financial services firm that uses a variety of different investment strategies. This is prepared for informational purposes only. It does not address specific investment objectives or the financial situation and the needs of any person. This is a paid advertisement.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Want to be on the show? Come on, be on the show. Call Eric now at 877-973-7425.
This hour of the program brought to you by First Liberty Building and Loan. If you're buying a building, if you are building a building, if you are needing a heavy equipment loan for your business, First Liberty Building and Loan's been helping businesses since the 90s. It's the same family, the Frost family, friends of mine who've been doing this for that long. They are great people. It is a great business. And if your business is looking to grow and you're tired of dealing with the lenders you've been dealing with, reach out to them. First Liberty Building and Loan is at firstlibertyga.com. You get their contact info at firstlibertyga.com. Well, there is some news happening now. Matt Gaetz has announced he will not return to Congress next year. He will not. He is giving up his seat altogether and has signaled to Ron DeSantis to go on and have that special election. That House Ethics Committee really must have had something in it for him to completely walk away from power like that. He will not be back. Meanwhile, well, the media is melting down about Pam Bondi in the same way they were with Gaetz, except they know there's nothing to stop Pam Bondi. This is Ken Dilanian. He is the NBC reporter on MSNBC.
It's significant, Willie and guys, because Pam Bondi was a career prosecutor down there in Hillsborough County for many, many years before she was elected Florida's first female attorney general. So she's prosecuted major cases, murders, death penalty cases. She understands how that works. Matt Gaetz had never really been much of a lawyer before he was elected to the Florida legislature. So that's a big difference. And she, at the same time, though, she is, an extreme MAGA activist and has tainted her legal career with very strong stands in favor of some questionable things.
Oh, they are not happy with her. They are not happy with her. But Eli Honig in CNN, who is the one guy on TV who's a lib who said the Trump case in New York was garbage. By the way, the judge in the Trump case in New York has indefinitely postponed sentencing and said he will take accept a motion from the Trump team to dismiss the case. This is Eli. Or Ellie.
Well, Caitlin, she's way more qualified than Matt Gaetz. Let's start with that. Last week when Matt Gaetz was announced as Trump's original pick, you and I said there's two main things you have to look at: qualification and independence. So on the first of those qualifications, Pam Bondi is, without a question, qualified to be Attorney General. She's been a prosecutor for 20 years in Florida. For 8 of those, she was the Attorney General of the state. That's a very big, very complicated job, and that level of experience is on par with or better than most United States attorneys general that we've seen over the past 50 years or so. When we get into independence, though, things get a little more complicated. Now, there's nothing wrong or unusual with an attorney general who shares the same politics and ideology as the president. That's the way these things work. But I think the big problem with Pam Bondi is she was a vocal 2020 election denier. And I think that raises legitimate questions about her independence and her credibility, and I expect that to be a sticking point when she goes in front of the Senate.
Oh, they're not happy with Pam Bondi. You didn't need 40 chests to get her, though. You could have gone with her to begin with. And she's highly more competent than Gaetz. She's actually managed a Justice Department. She'll know how the bureaucracy operates, unlike Matt Gaetz, and she'll know how to get things done in a way that Matt Gaetz would have had to learn on the job because he's never done something like that. She's going to be a great pick, and she will get confirmed by the Senate. The Senate Republican women will make sure of that. All right, when we come back, we got to shift. I got to go through the audit process with you of the Obama administration for a particular reason.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people, obviously. But what's more, MediShare members like it a lot. Their satisfaction rate is 98%. Imagine that. And MediShare is a proven thing, too, for over 30 years. It's a Christian community of hundreds of thousands of people now. And here's the thing. If you join before November 30th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee, so you save even more right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline is November 30th. So call now and you'll save even more. Here's the number. 877-26-BIBLE. That's 877-26-BIBLE. 877-26-BIBLE.
News,
weather, traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Hip Nation. A mother's been killed in a drive-by shooting in Swanee. This was on Baxley Village Trail. The suspect opening fire on a home, hitting the woman who was in the kitchen at the time. Swanee Police Captain Robert Thompson telling Channel 2 Action News the suspect's car tires were flattened when he hit another vehicle as he was speeding away.
As the suspect was driving away, obviously he couldn't go very far, but he did make it to his residence.
And his home is in the same neighborhood as the house he was targeting. Police arrested him as he was trying to leave the neighborhood in a different vehicle. The mother, who's in her 40s, ended up dying at the hospital. Sunny, windy, and cold today. We're not going to get out of the lower 50s, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. Today is expected to be a busy one down at the airport.
4.2 million travelers are expected to pass through the airport over the next week and a half, with over 370,000 expected today alone. The airport's Jordan Bigler says security lines aren't the only lines that could get long.
If you're not traveling but plan to pick up family or friends, remember that our roadways and curbsides can become congested during peak periods.
He's urging travelers to stay patient and arrive early. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
And that Thanksgiving dinner is going to cost a little bit less this year, according to a new report from the American Farm Bureau.
Signs inflation continues to cool. As you gather around the table this Thanksgiving, your eyes may be bigger than your stomach, but the price tag of this year's feast has gone down compared to last year.
And Michelle Franzen reports the average price for a turkey and all the trimmings for 10 people is going to cost about $58. That's down 5% from the year before. Nearly 145,000 Hyundai and Genesis electric vehicles are being recalled because of a problem with a battery, but it's not the one you might think, as Jeff Gilbert explains.
The larger EV battery is okay, but the smaller 12-volt battery can get damaged. That will set off warning lights at first, then eventually put the vehicle in fail-safe mode where it can't be driven. Some vehicles have already been recalled for the issue. They will need to be repaired again.
He says all Hyundai and Genesis EV models have vehicles that are impacted by this recall. It's 102.
Skip the hassle and sell your home with the strongest cash offer this fall. The guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate is the easiest way to sell your home. It's Eric Erickson, and with the guaranteed offer, you can skip the uncertainty, sell your home fast for all cash in as little as 21 days. Mark Spain Real Estate's been serving families for nearly 30 years and has helped over 58,000 satisfied clients. Trust the top real estate team in the U.S. to sell your home fast and for maximum profit. Go to markspain.com and find out what your guaranteed offer would be and start packing.
Hey, it's Ashley Frasca from the traffic team. And you know, when I report traffic every morning, I hear from people that are jammed up. They are bumper to bumper, and there's not enough room to move on the Atlanta roads. You know that. So let me ask you, is the storage at your business like that? Do you feel like you've outgrown your space? Shipping Containers for You has the perfect solution. Shipping Containers for You has 40-foot and 20-foot containers that can be delivered to you within days. Go to shippingcontainersforyou.com. Find the shipping container that you need for your home or business and have it delivered within days.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Shane Company is your go-to destination for high-quality fine jewelry gifts. Come find beautiful gifts at competitive prices, from dream engagement rings to tennis bracelets, engravable charms, and more. All in stock and ready to give. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
You know the old expression, I love it when a plan comes together? Well, with our First Liberty Notes, this has been so true. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. You hear about our family's company all the time right here on the station. For over 30 years, we've been the local lender who said yes when the big banks say no. A couple of months ago, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Folks from airline pilots to physicians to even pastors are now earning 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of local small businesses. If you're a qualified investor with a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. Go to firstlibertyga.com and see if our First Liberty notes are right for you. Go to firstlibertyga.com. That's firstlibertyga.com.
First Liberty notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. SEC accredited investor status must be verified. Securities not offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather. Veronica Harrell's in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
And right now, dealing with delays as you make your way over on 285 westbound, that inner loop right at Boulder Crest Road, exit 51. That is construction over in that right lane. That's why you're dealing with delays there. And then staying on 285, a crash 285 northbound, the outer loop over at Covington Highway. That's exit 43. A crash knocks out a right lane downtown, just dealing with volume 75, 85 north and south. I'm Veronica Harrell, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. A few clouds passing by, breezy and chilly. Daytime highs in the upper 40s to low 50s. Clear and cold tonight, lows in the mid-30s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 56. Sunday, mostly sunny, morning low 39, afternoon high 62.
As we take a look at WSB Storm Tracker radar, we don't see any rain, and we are in a moderate drought, as Christina told us earlier. Our next chance of rain arrives on Tuesday morning. Right now in Tucker, you have a mix of clouds and sun, 50 degrees. It's 49 degrees in Cartersville. Powder Springs has 49 degrees. Here in Midtown Atlanta, we're at 51 degrees right now on Peachtree Street. We will have more news at 1:30, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hello, America. Welcome. It's Eric Erickson here. It is an Open Line Friday, 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be very happy to have you. We got some stuff we got to discuss because I'm starting to get annoyed by some trends I see. As you are aware, President Trump, incoming Trump administration, has, for example, chosen Pete Hegseth from Fox News and has chosen Sean Duffy from Fox News and has chosen several other voices from Fox News. And at Fox News are a number of people who have been in the Trump administration previously. And the Democrats are pointing into this and saying, see, the media is biased for conservatives. And in fact, I've seen a great many people who are tied to the mainstream media claim somehow or another that the media is now clearly biased. Well, I would point out there's an issue. And that issue is that the American mainstream media can only point to Fox News with ties to Republicans as opposed to the rest of them. Jay Carney was a Time magazine political reporter and also a regular fixture on CNN. Jay Carney left Time and CNN to be White House press secretary. He started with Joe Biden and then moved over to Barack Obama. When Jay Carney left the Biden vice presidential office to become the White House press secretary, Vice President Joe Biden replaced him as press secretary with Shyla Murray. Shyla Murray worked for the Washington Post, And Shyla Murray, the Washington Post writer who became the press secretary for Joe Biden, was married to a guy named Neil King who recently passed away. He was a reporter for the Wall Street Journal. And when I pointed out that Shyla Murray, who was left the Washington Post to be a liberal mouthpiece for Joe Biden, and could you imply that perhaps her husband might have political leanings in the Wall Street Journal, I got a very angry note from Neil King. How dare I make that suggestion? And then Neil King left the Wall Street Journal to go work for a Democratic opposition research group. Surprise, surprise. By the way, you should know that while Neil King was there writing at the Wall Street Journal, he attacked Bernice King, the youngest daughter of Dr. King, for attending a what he called anti-gay marriage rally at an evangelical church. It was pretty obvious he was a progressive. Linda Douglas worked for ABC News. Linda Douglas went from ABC News to the White House and then went from the White House to the Atlantic magazine. David Axelrod very famously worked for the Chicago Tribune before signing up with Barack Obama. Jill Zuckman, who you may not have heard of, but she was a writer at the Chicago Tribune, and she went to work for the Department of Transportation. Douglas Franz worked at the White House at the Washington Post and then went to the State Department. Stephen Barr worked at the Washington Post and then went to the Labor Department under the administration of Barack Obama. Chuck Todd is married to a former DNC communications head. I know and like Chuck Todd. He got his start working for Tom Harkin, a Democratic senator. I like him, but I also do think that Chuck leans center-left. Ruth Marcus is the editorial page editor of the Washington Post. She's married to the former chairman of the Federal Trade Commission, placed there by Barack Obama. Don't tell me she's not a liberal. We see these time and time again. John Harris, the editor of Politico, married to the former head of NARAL, Virginia. Jonathan Allen, who I think is at NBC News right now, left Politico to go work for Debbie Wasserman Schultz, returned to Politico as its senior political writer in Washington, and then left there to go work for NBC News. And I think actually he's left NBC for some left-wing site now. Andy Barr was a Politico reporter who left to go work for the Democratic National Committee. Time and time again, we see this pattern. Michael Shearer worked for the left-wing Salon. You know, Salon is really left-wing. He left there to go work for the really left-wing Mother Jones. And now Michael Shearer is a Time magazine reporter. Laura Rosen went to work at Mother Jones and then to the far-left American Prospect and is now a foreign policy writer at Foreign Policy magazine. It's kind of wild to me how these guys are somehow pretended to be objective, but oh my gosh, you worked at Fox News, you're a conservative hack. John Harwood is a great one. John Harwood was CNBC's man in Washington, and he worked with the Washington New York Times. His mom was a campaigner for Robert F. Kennedy. His parents took him to Kennedy rallies. His dad was with the Washington Post and took off for the Washington Post to to help Robert Kennedy. John Harwood was supposedly an objective political analyst for CNBC and the New York Times. He left there to go to CNN, where he would regularly opine on political matters for CNN as if he was objective, and now he's left CNN and is an open partisan hack for progressives and for the Democrats. Hates Donald Trump, hates conservatives, and can't see straight because of his hatred. And yet he was allowed to be somehow an objective reporter, an objective voice, an objective analyst. And then, of course, most famously is George Stephanopoulos, who helped run Bill Clinton's campaign for president, worked for Bill Clinton in the White House, and is now a supposedly objective reporter at ABC News. There is no better example of the commingling of the press and the left than George Stephanopoulos. But oh my God, Dana Perino left the Bush White House and got a job at Fox News. Hello, Jen Psaki, who left the Biden White House and went to work at MSNBC. It's remarkable to me that we continue to encounter this mythology that reporters in the media tell themselves, that the left tells itself, that somehow the media has a bias towards the right. Now, I think many of them probably know it's not true, but I'm always stunned by the ones who are absolutely convinced that the media is biased towards the GOP. And the reason they're convinced the media is biased towards the GOP is because the media sometimes dares to give the Republicans a fair hearing and ask their side of the story instead of just outright rejecting them. But there is this ongoing smear right now about Fox News because of Hegseth and Sean Duffy and others. By the way, you notice, just side note here, when Fox News called Arizona for Joe Biden an accurate call in 2020, it was vilified by everyone. That Chris Stirewalt, who was the guy who made the call and defended it, was pushed out of Fox News. Others were as well, for having the audacity to speak the truth, because the Trump team and conservatives got very mad. And the Fox News team was worried about the startups OAN and Newsmax and others, and they had to show their tribal loyalty to the base, and they had to get rid of problem makers and troublemakers and stuff like that. Notice how you're not seeing this big movement of Newsmax people to the White House or OAN people to the White House. It's Fox News. Fox News still reigns supreme. Fox News is still the best at what it does. And Trump is hiring not from the B team or the C team, but the best team. You know, one of the most famous examples of media bias was a report on February 5th, 1992. Andrew Rosenthal was a reporter covering Bush in the Bush-Clinton campaign in 1992, and he wrote this. As President Bush travels the country in search of re-election, he seems unable to escape a central problem. This career politician, who has lived the cloistered life of a top Washington bureaucrat for decades, is having trouble presenting himself to the electorate as a man in touch with middle-class life. Today, for instance, he emerged from 11 years in Washington's choicest executive mansions to confront the modern supermarket. Visiting the exhibition hall of the National Grocers Association convention here, Mr. Bush lingered at the mock-up of a checkout lane. He signed his name on an electric pad used to detect check forgeries. If some guy came in and spelled George Bush differently, could you catch it, the president asked. Yes, he was told, and he shook his head in wonder. Then he grabbed a quart of milk, a light bulb, and a bag of candy and ran them over an electronic scanner. The look of wonder flickered across his face as he saw the item and price registered on the cash register screen. This is for checking out, asked Mr. Bush. I just took a tour through the exhibit here, he told the grocers later, amazed by some of the technology. Marlin Fitzwater, the White House spokesman, assured reporters he had seen the president in a grocery store a year or so ago in Kennebunkport. Some grocery stores began using electronic scanners as early as 1976, and the device has been in general use in American supermarkets for a decade. So Andrew Rosenthal writing this on the campaign beat, and by the way, this went in nationally in multiple newspapers around the country, showing George H.W. Bush in 1992 is out of touch because he used the standard grocery market scanner that you and I use to pass groceries over, except there's a problem. What George H.W. Bush was using in 1992 was not the standard scanner. It was the one that's only come into grocery stores in the last decade. The one where no one works there, the one that weighs out the groceries for you and has a scanner and a high-resolution camera to see what you're buying so you're not stealing stuff and putting stuff in wrong. You know, in many groceries, my Publix, for example, hasn't had a self-checkout line like this except in the last 5 years. Even Walmart didn't introduce this technology until about 10 years ago, where you have your own conveyor belt and no one's around and has a high-resolution scanner to detect stuff. This was in 1992. George W. Bush, H.W. Bush, was examining technology that did not make it to the market until after the year 2000. But Andrew Rosenthal, who it turns out he never said it, he wrote it as if he was there witnessing it. Andrew Rosenthal was not in the room. Andrew Rosenthal was not present. Andrew Rosenthal never saw it. He never wrote in his piece that it was a third-hand report. report based on a pool reporter. In fact, the pool reporter who wrote the report for the other members of the press noted that it was technology not yet on the market. And Andrew Rosenthal left that out of his piece. And Andrew Rosenthal got promoted to be the editor of the New York Times after writing that, and that piece was used by the Clinton team to show how out of touch George H.W. Bush was, and it simply wasn't true. He became the editorial page editor of the New York Times after lying about George H.W. Bush. You got all these people who left the Obama team and went back into the media. Jim Scudo at CNN worked for the ambassador to China in the Obama administration. You had what's her name, Valerie Jarrett's daughter, went to work for CNN. In fact, CNN fired a friend of mine because he was a white guy, so they could hire Valerie Jarrett's daughter as a diversity pick, and then she left there and went to NBC. You have this massive interconnection between Democrats and the press, and it hasn't stopped. So spare me your outrage that Donald Trump has hired a couple of people from Fox News. The remarkable thing is how conservatives and Republicans can only hire from Fox News, because those people can only go to a CNN or a New York Times or an NBC as an editorial voice, never as an actual reporter. But George Stephanopoulos can literally run Bill Clinton's campaign, and today is heralded as some sort of grand poobah of objective coverage in the national press. And Jen Psaki can have her own show on MSNBC as if she's some sort of reporter. Spare me your complaints about Fox News and the Trump team.
When the world seems crazy, he'll keep you sane. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
120 in the Cooler Carrier WSB 24-hour traffic center. Well, right now you're dealing with delays making your way out of Kennesaw. That's because of a crash. 75 southbound over at Chastain Road. Exit 271, it knocks out the right lane. Some of your delays stretch almost back to Highway 92 over in Ackworth. Also checking on a slow zone, 575 southbound below Highway 92. Exit 7 could cause some brake lights for you trying to get out of the Woodstock area. Driving elsewhere downtown, filled in and slow. 75 southbound, 85 southbound. Dealing with volume there, and also volume over on the east side of town, but that's because of a crash. 285 northbound, the outer loop at Covington Highway, exit 43. It's in a right lane. This report brought to you by PureTalk.com. Stop overpaying for your cell phone plan. Pure Talk gives you unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month on their 5G network. Dial pound 250 and say keyword switch down to save 50% off your first month. Now traveling elsewhere over on that East Freeway, possibly something new now. I-20 westbound right around Panola Road, exit 71, causing brake lights for you. I'm Veronica Harrell, 95.5 WSB.
When news breaks,
Judge Patrick Haggard found Jose Ibarra guilty of murdering Laken Riley.
We've got it covered.
I'm asking you to please give this monster life without any chance of parole.
With news at the top and bottom of every hour, and when it breaks.
The judge did indeed throw the book at Ibarra, giving him life in prison without the possibility of parole.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
Having trouble finding your stuff? Really? It was right here yesterday. Dave Baker here for Spacemakers Custom Closets. I'm a slob. That all changed, though, when the designers at Spacemakers Custom Closets came out to my house for a free in-home consultation. It took less than an hour for us to come up with a plan that helped me organize my garage. Inside tip, they do more than garages. They also do closets and pantries and more. Schedule your free in-home consultation now at spacemakersclosets.com. Spacemakers Custom Closets, an artisan family brand.
Your business needs a network it can count on.
Power's out.
Comcast Business has you covered with Wi-Fi backup to help keep your business up and running, even when your power goes out.
Everybody in the warehouse good? Lights are out, but the Wi-Fi's up. Let's power on.
It's from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
Break room, you good?
Can't microwave my burrito, but Wi-Fi's fine. Let's power on.
Power on with the leader in connectivity, Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Learn how to get Comcast Business Internet, Security Edge, and Wi-Fi backup for $59 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement when you add Comcast Business Mobile Unlimited. Plus, for a limited time, find out how to get an $800 holiday bonus prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Don't wait. Call or go online to ComcastBusiness.com today. Ins 12/15/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 300 megabit per second internet, Security Edge, and Connection Pro. EcoBill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change.
What is your healing power?
Helping veterans with PTSD, traumatic brain injuries, depression, anxiety, or loneliness? Is your healing power a simple, heartfelt letter or being a volunteer? At healvets.org, you can find out more about the healing power of pen pals, volunteers, and therapy kits. Help Heal Veterans has been helping veterans heal. What is your healing power? Find out at healvets.org, sponsored by Help Heal Veterans.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health, and I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual Imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Get the podcast, live stream, email, and social media links by texting Eric to 33777 now.
Greetings, conversationalists. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number 877-973-7425 should you wish to be on the program. Now, I got people on the phones. Be patient with me. This is a short segment. I'm going to start taking your phone calls when we come back after the break. Right now, however, I gotta throw this out there. The International Criminal Court, as you know, has released a warrant for the arrest of Benjamin Netanyahu. It turns out that the judge who rushed it was trying to distract from sexual harassment charges that he knew were coming. Here's Benjamin Netanyahu.
The decision to issue an arrest warrant against me, the democratically elected Prime Minister of the State of Israel, and our former defense minister, was made by a rogue prosecutor who's trying to extricate himself from sexual harassment charges, and by biased judges who are motivated by anti-Semitic sentiments against the one and only Jewish state.
Yeah, okay, so it was the prosecutor who wanted to distract. And yes, that appears to be the case. Karim Khan, is a British Muslim judge who is actually pushing the case, and he's at the center of a sexual harassment complaint by a former colleague, and yet you should note it is relevant. Karim Khan, who is pushing this, actually is a Muslim who has in the past voiced anti-Semitic statements and now wants to have Benjamin Netanyahu arrested. The United States government should impose sanctions on the International Criminal Court, which it has the power to do. European governments, by the way, including the Netherlands, are saying because they're bound to the ICC, that if any member of the Jewish government comes in, and particularly Netanyahu and his former defense minister, they will be arrested. They'll be arrested. The leader, democratically elected leader of Israel, will be arrested if he goes to Europe. Every time the Europeans start targeting Jews, bad things happen on planet Earth. Is it any wonder we're headed towards World War III? It's all part of a sign. You would think they would learn this by now. Now, I want you to learn about Hillsdale College, which you can do by going to ericforhillsdale.com, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com. You watch a short video about what it means to be a part of Hillsdale's community and what Hillsdale does. They've been educating Americans since the 1800s. They were one of the very first institutions in the country to integrate after the Civil War because they believe that any person created in the image of God deserves true history, truth, fact, and education. And they've been spreading that mission around the country with so many free things, including homeschool and charter school curricula and the like. You go to ericforhillsdale.com today, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com, and you can sign up to learn about Hillsdale College. And you can get Imprimus, which is an education for your mind. It comes completely free of charge to your mailbox. I've been getting it since I was in law school. I love it. I do not miss an issue of it. My mother gets it. Multiple members of my family get it. It's a great relationship with Hillsdale College you can have. Go to Eric, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com today. Sign up to learn about Hillsdale College. Sign up to get Imprimus for free. You'll get so much more. It's a rewarding relationship that you can have with Hillsdale College. And all you have to do is go to ericforhillsdale.com today. Sign up and learn more from Hillsdale College.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. A mother has been killed in a drive-by shooting in Gwinnett County. Police are at that home in Swanee off Buford Highway on Baxley Village Trail today. They tell Channel 2 Action News that a neighbor opened fire during a targeted drive-by.
The suspect actually lives in the same neighborhood. It's another house not too far from here.
That is Swanee Police Captain Robert Thompson. He says the shooter tried to get away but was stopped by police and is now in custody. The mother, who was in her 40s, was in the kitchen at the time of that drive-by shooting. She died at the hospital. Sunny, windy, and cold today. Afternoon highs not going to get out of the lower 50s, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Thanksgiving is next week and the holiday travel period in full swing today. It's expected to be a busy day at Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson. The TSA's Anisha Kareem says they're working to make sure that they have plenty of agents at security checkpoints to account for the jump in travelers.
We will do our best to screen standard passengers in under 30 minutes and passengers enrolled in TSA PreCheck in under 10 minutes.
Over 370,000 travelers expected to pass through the airport today. It's the start of a Georgia Bulldog football weekend here on WSB. Saturday will be Senior Day at Sanford Stadium.
Excited to play UMass at home. Senior Day, honoring a lot of guys been part of this program.
And Coach Kirby Smart's Bulldogs are beat up after 8 straight SEC games. Georgia's senior class has never lost at home, and they've won 50 games since 2021. Pre-game 8:45 tomorrow. Kickoff 12:45. All the action right here on your home of the Georgia Bulldogs. Let's take a look at the markets and see how your money's working for you. As we take a look, the Dow currently up 354 at 44,225. So the Dow's up almost a full percent. NASDAQ and S&P are also in positive territory. It's 132.
Hey, it's Mark Aram here with an amazing way to make this a stress-free holiday season. Heat and serve traditional feasts from my friends at Publix. Order now and make your holiday gathering one to remember. Check out the turkey dinner. It includes a fully cooked turkey, old-fashioned cornbread dressing, delicious home-style Yukon Gold mashed potatoes, cranberry orange relish, marshmallow delight, and no Thanksgiving is complete without delicious home-style gravy. Just make sure you order these items in advance. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Hey, it's Ashley Frasca from the Traffic Center. You may have heard me talk about businesses that use shipping containers for you to provide more storage when they've outgrown their warehouse. Is your house and garage overrun with lawn equipment, tools, boxes of Christmas decorations, bikes, and more? Visit shippingcontainersforyou.com. These containers were built tough to travel oceans with containers stacked on top of them. Shipping Containers For You has 40-foot and 20-foot containers that can be delivered to you within days. Go ahead and visit them online, shippingcontainersforyou.com.
This is Monica Pearson from My Plumber Superior Plumbing. The owner, Jay Cunningham, has been serving Atlanta for almost 40 years. They are Atlanta's plumber. Most other plumbing companies have been purchased by private equity conglomerates. Superior Plumbing is entrenched in the community, but the reason I chose Superior Plumbing is that they respect your time with on-time appointments and quality work done right the first time.
Superior, the honest one, call 770-4222-PLUM.
know the old expression, I love it when a plan comes together? Well, with our First Liberty Notes, this has been so true. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. You hear about our family's company all the time right here on the station. For over 30 years, we've been the local lender who said yes when the big banks say no. A couple of months ago, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Folks from airline pilots to physicians to even pastors are now earning 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of local small businesses. If you're a qualified investor with a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. Go to firstlibertyga.com and see if our First Liberty Notes are right for you. Go to firstlibertyga.com. That's firstlibertyga.com.
First Liberty Notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. SEC accredited investor status must be verified. Securities not offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather. Here's Veronica Harrell.
And talking about delays on that East Freeway crash, I-20 westbound at Panola Road, exit 71, knocks out a left lane. At times, they may have to block 2 left lanes, causing delays for you. Moving elsewhere, you have that crash over in the Kennesaw area. 75 southbound at Chastain Road, exit 271. It blocks the right lane. You're looking at delays as you leave Ackworth. And maybe something new over in Marietta, 75 northbound over at that South 120 loop, causing delays. I'm Veronica Harrell, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies, breezy and chilly today. Highs in the upper 40s, low 50s. Wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour.
We'll have more news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
He's got the courage to tell you the truth, because the truth is what matters. You're listening to The Eric Erickson Show.
Greetings, conversationalists. It's Eric Erickson here. I want to remind you, if you text the word recipe, singular, not plural, recipe, no S on the end, to 33777, and you follow the link, I have put up my holiday recipes. It's a little PDF booklet you can download and print out. It includes my gravy recipe, how I do my turkey. I'll be doing the turkey, so my in-laws have asked me to do the turkey. I'm going to do 2 small ones instead of 1 big one. And I'm going to make a chocolate pie, too. In fact, the chocolate pie recipe I make, credit to the Pioneer Woman. It is a recipe I first learned from her. I've tinkered with it a little bit to make it more my own. But Pioneer Woman, several of the recipes in there, are including my brine. I love the Pioneer Woman's recipes. If you're not familiar with the Pioneer Woman, you should be. She's got Ree Drummond. She's got a show on the Food Network, and she's just the best cook. I abhor the idea of celebrity chefs and their cookbooks with their faces on them, except for her. She and Ina Garten are just kind of 2 of the staples in my house. Ree in particular, in fact, so she makes this sandwich, y'all, for her husband, and she put that recipe out, and it has become one of my favorites. And you basically take a chicken breast, pound it out flat, rub it in blackening seasoning, put it in the skillet after you fried some bacon, then put the bacon back on top and some Colby Jack cheese. My gosh, I make this for the guys on Sunday nights when they come over for bourbon and cigars. It's fantastic. So a lot of my recipes are modifications of other people's recipes, including my turkey brine and that chocolate pie from her. It's just delightful. But you can get all the stuff that I'm making for the holidays, my gumbo recipe, all of it. Just text the word recipe to 33777. Now, to the phones we go as promised. It is here an open line Friday. Brian in Orlando, Florida. You're up first. Welcome.
Hey, good afternoon, Eric. Not your biggest fan, but I have the utmost respect for the way you intellectualize and view just every topic.
Thank you.
So I need a I need a non-biased opinion on the PRESS Act, how it got a virtually unanimous support in Congress and hasn't been brought to the Senate, and now Trump is, I guess, calling for it to be killed. So can you help us understand what's going on with that?
Okay. For those of you who don't know, the legislation is called the PRESS Act, and PRESS is an acronym. It is, hang on a second, I'm trying to pull up one of the, Protecting Reporters from Exploitative State Spying Act, or the PRESS Act. So, I think they should pass it. Here's the deal. The legislation was passed overwhelmingly by the House of Representatives, Democrats and Republicans alike, because they are concerned with efforts in the past, including the Obama administration, to spy on reporters with state means to try to find their sources. So in the United States, a reporter typically doesn't have to give up his sources if there are other means to find the information. However, there's a situation right now with Catherine Herridge of Fox News where she may go to jail because she has refused to release her sources related to some investigation going back to the Obama administration. What the Protect Reporters from Exploitative State Spying Act would do would be to prohibit the federal government from trying to find the sources of members of the press, bullying the press, and things like that. Donald Trump has come out against it, even though it passed a Republican unanimously, a bipartisan support in the House. One of the reasons is because he believes, rightly, and we all know it's true, that a lot of Democrats and members of the bureaucracy, when he was president last time, leaked a lot of unflattering information about him to reporters. And he is afraid that if he intends, that when he comes back, they're going to do it again. And if this law goes into effect, he won't be able to investigate to find out who. So Merrick Garland, as Attorney General, issued a rule that banned prosecutors from using compulsory legal processes like subpoenas and search warrants to go after reporters' information, including asking third parties about them, or going through phones or email records, turn over data, or forcing the reporters to testify about their sources. The PRESS Act would codify Merrick Garland's rules that banned prosecutors from seeking out their sources through third parties and things like that. Trump saying kill the law. Probably any one Republican senator can put a hold on the piece of legislation. If a Republican senator puts a hold on the piece of legislation, and it's going to happen, Josh Hawley or someone's going to do it for Trump. What will happen is the Senate's going to be forced to debate it for 70 hours, and that's going to slow down the Democrats' ability to confirm judges. And so the bill's going to die because the Democrats would rather confirm judges than protect the press. I think they should pass it, but I don't really care. I owe nothing to these reporters. And Donald Trump absolutely is right. The whole press corps is going to turn against him. So, I mean, they kind of get what they deserve in that regard. If you look at it from the partisan perspective, you're already seeing so much of the press report things already about the Trump team that aren't true. They're poorly sourced. And yeah, it's going to come back to bite them if this law is killed, because Trump wants to be able to investigate reporters. And that's why he wants an attorney general who's willing to do it, which Pam Bondi probably will do. Lewis, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Good. I wanted to ask you, seeing that Biden went ahead and allowed the missiles to be used in Ukraine, and when Trump comes in, does this put Trump in an act of war on his, now when he comes into office?
I don't think so, and here's why. As much as I think Vladimir Putin is not our friend and is our enemy, he's also somewhat of a rational player and understands that this is the Biden team. In fact, let me play this audio. This is a perfect way to get into this. This is the Pentagon spokesman with reporters. The reporters were asking about Russia's use of an intercontinental ballistic missile in Ukraine.
Missile. Trying to remember some of the order of your questions. So I can confirm that Russia did launch an experimental intermediate range ballistic missile. This IRBM was based on Russia's RS-26 Rubezh intercontinental ballistic missile model. In terms of notifications to the United States was pre-notified briefly before the launch through nuclear risk reduction channels. For more, I'd refer you to state on that.
So, in other words, Russia launches this missile. It's an interregional missile, not an intercontinental missile. It's based on an intercontinental platform, a smaller version of an intercontinental missile, meaning it doesn't have the fuel to reach another continent, even though it's based on the same model. And so they did call, the Russians notified the United States, we're launching this missile at Ukraine. It's not at you. And then boom. It's not like they gave us time to warn Ukraine. They just did it. It turns out also that the payload was smaller than many of the missiles Russia has launched at Ukraine. They did it to signal they have this capability in light of Ukraine using our missiles. But Putin, and it got buried in the press, but Putin already said he recognizes that the policies of the Trump administration will be different from the policies of the Biden administration. In fact, one of the reasons Putin has sped things up is he thinks Trump's going to probably force him into a peace deal with the Ukrainians, and Trump actually can force the Russians, because one of the things, as much as this is one of the frustrating things about progressives in the press, as much as the press is convinced that Donald Trump is a pawn of Vladimir Putin, what the American press refuses to tell all of you is that the Biden administration has actually repeatedly pulled punches on Ukraine. The Biden administration, for example, has given Ukraine a lot of heavy equipment and armor and weaponry and then said, don't use it. They've told Ukraine, we're going to give you all of these grand and glorious weapons, and then haven't. And then they've given Ukraine things that have come with so many strings attached, it makes it impractical for them to use. And the Russians know Donald Trump's not going to do that. That's a good thing, actually. It's more likely to force peace in the area because of it. All right, one more call here. Adrian, you're going to be up next. Welcome.
Thank you, and thank you for all you do, Eric. My question has to do with capital punishment. What if a state, say Georgia, establishes a system whereby the convicted felon could plead, he has a choice of appeal, of course, or he can choose life imprisonment, or he can choose death. I think this would eliminate some of the action, litigation, and so forth that goes on, and coming from the people who oppose the death penalty in all cases. I'm not attacking them or anything. I'm just saying it might save some time and expedite judicial proceedings if the felon had this choice. At the sentencing hearing, the judge could say, you have these three choices. You can confer with your lawyers. You have a reasonable amount of time to do that, and then come back with an answer. That's the brief version of what I'm suggesting.
All right, so hang on. Wait. Don't hang up yet. Don't hang up yet, Adrian. I got to clarify. So you're essentially saying that you give the prisoner the option. Do you want to be executed or do you want to stay in prison?
Yes, basically. Yeah.
Okay. Listen, I guess a state could do that, but that's kind of like asking your kid, do you want the hand or a belt? They're going to choose the hand every time, probably, never the belt. I mean, I guess you could do it, but what are the odds that the prisoner's ever going to choose the death penalty? I mean, the death penalty is the ultimate punishment, and I can see a lot of prisoners, if you were to give them the choice, a lot of serial killers, for example, say, you want to die now? They're like, oh, no, I want to sit in prison the rest of my life and gloat over the family that I chose not to die and didn't give your child that choice when I murdered them. So, I don't think in practice it actually would be a very popular thing to implement. But yeah, I mean, legally, I guess a state could pass that law. You, the prisoner, you, the convicted person, pick your punishment, but kind of undermines justice when you allow the criminal to pick their own punishment. That's part of the problem with doing it that way, I think. All right, 877-973-7425. It is an open line Friday. When we come back, I will take more of your questions. We do have much more news that we have to proceed with, including the meltdown, absolute meltdown over Judge Merchan in New York indefinitely postponing sentencing for Donald Trump, which of course was going to happen because he's president of the he's going to be president of the United States now. You can't sentence the president of the United States to state jail. You can't do it, actually, under the law. You may think you can, but you can't. It's kind of a well-settled legal principle in the United States. The president, while president, cannot be thrown in jail. so ridiculous for them to try it. But before I get to anything else, I got to tell you about Americans for Prosperity. They are the largest leading grassroots organization in the United States of America. They would love to have you on their side. They are on the right. They advance free market principles and common sense conservative solutions to public policy in this country. They can teach you to be a door knocker. In fact, they knocked on millions of doors in multiple states, like millions total, but millions in each state. Lots of doors got knocked on by AFP as they were able to incentivize people, finding the right people to get out to vote, educating them on the issues, and then helping them go vote. They did a great job. They would love to have you on their side. All you have to do is go to americansforprosperity.org/volunteer. If you sign up with Americans for Prosperity today, you'll be networking with people in your state. They have chapters in almost every state. People who share your values and vision for this country, common sense, conservative solutions for America. All you do, go to americansforprosperity.org/volunteer, sign up with AFP today, and you can get smarter and more effective as a conservative activist.
He'll do the research and give it to you straight. Eric Erickson is live every weekday.
149, the Coolray Carrier WSB 24-hour traffic center. Crash now blocks just one left lane. I-20 westbound at Panola Road, exit 71. However, you're still looking at some tough delays to stretch back before Evans Mill Road. This report brought to you by PureTalk.com. Stop overpaying for your cell phone plan. Pure Talk gives you unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month on their 5G network. Dial pound 250 and say keyword switch now to save 50% off your first month. I'm Veronica Harrell, 95.5 WSB.
The morning rush hour, evening rush hour, and everything in between.
The through lanes are jammed up as you leave Marietta.
Tune in 24/7 with the Triple Team Traffic Center.
Stoppage either side as you merge north and south on the connector.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
Traffic is coming up from the East Freeway on 285 northbound.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health, and I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual Imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
City of Hope. We're more than just a top-ranked cancer hospital. For over 100 years, we've been making breakthroughs, pushing the limits of what's possible, targeting cancer at the molecular level, pioneering treatments used worldwide. At City of Hope, your entire cancer-fighting team is bound together by a single mission: to cure your cancer. And now City of Hope is closer than ever, providing patients in Metro Atlanta the cancer care they deserve. Learn more at cityofhope.org.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hey, it's Mark Aram here with an amazing way to make this a stress-free holiday season. Heat and serve traditional feasts from my friends at Publix. Order now and make your holiday gathering one to remember. Check out the turkey dinner. It includes a fully cooked turkey, old-fashioned cornbread dressing, delicious home-style Yukon Gold mashed potatoes, cranberry orange relish, marshmallow delight, and no Thanksgiving is complete without delicious home-style gravy. Just make sure you order these items in advance. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Are the effects of diabetes, prostate cancer, hypertension, or high cholesterol robbing you of your ability to perform in the bedroom? Choice Men's Health can help you eliminate ED and get your bedroom performance back in just one visit. Choice Men's Health offers breakthrough treatments for ED and performance issues in the bedroom to help you regain your confidence and give you back the intimacy with your partner. Call Choice Men's Health right now to make an appointment and find out how you can eliminate ED on the first visit. Popular name brand pills like Viagra and Cialis don't work for everyone and can have serious side effects. Choice Men's Health custom medications work immediately, even if you have a medical history or think you're too old to perform like you used to. Choice Men's Health can help you have a fulfilling sex life again. Call Choice Men's Health today at 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170. Once again, that's 404-400-1170.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Join Eric's Army of Activists. Text ARMY to 33777 now.
Welcome back. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 8779-737425 should you wish to be on the program. Joy Reid is having a bit of a breakdown. You all know Joyless Reid from MSNBC. Let me reroute this audio so y'all can hear this. This is Joy Reid who put up she recorded a video on her phone. Listen to this kind of craziness.
People are rightfully alarmed. They have a reason to be alarmed. And if you would vote for that, people may not feel so confident that they're safe with you. This is not crazy. This is legitimate feelings of fear of you and a feeling that you might not be someone they could trust. If this thing goes way south, autocracies go south real fast and things get ugly and people get asked to do things and turn people in and point people out and turn on them. And if you're voting affirmatively, gleefully for this, people may not feel so confident in you anymore.
Y'all, Joyless Reid is a woman who attacked Wolf Blitzer for being in the pocket of the Jews. Joy Reid is a woman who you know and I know would turn you in a heartbeat if you were a conservative. Talk about projection. And also, she's one of those voices out there, probably soon to be ended as they shut down MSNBC over at Comcast. She's one of those voices who affirmatively wants you to hate your family if they disagree with you or you with them. It's a whole lot easier to hate your neighbor than love your neighbor, and Joy Reid is in the easy camp. She wants to hit that easy button every time. Just hate. Just hate. And also, no one voted for autocracy, and they're not going to have an autocracy. Donald Trump is term limited. This, again, is another example of progressives who do not believe in the strength of our constitutional system. Joy Reid does not believe in the strength of the American system of government. She doesn't believe in the strength of the United States. She doesn't believe it. She doesn't believe it because she never has to, outside her cloistered bubble, deal with Americans who are struggling. She's been there lecturing black men that they're racist for voting for Donald Trump and misogynist, and she doesn't have to deal with the cost of groceries. She's this well-paid host on MSNBC. You know, when we come back, I want to spend some time talking about the Daniel Penny case in New York. It's winding down. They expect closing arguments next week, and then the jury. Daniel Penny is the man who saved people on the subway of New York from a crazy schizophrenic. The crazy schizophrenic died in police custody, and they charged Daniel Penny with murder. And people like Joy Reid, he's the bad guy. There were voices on MSNBC at the time, remember, who said that you're supposed to get accosted by crazy people in the subway in New York. It's part of city life. Now, I want you to go to omahasteaks.com today and get yourself a great steak package from Omaha Steaks. Friends, listen, right now, if you go to omahasteaks.com for a limited time, minimum order required, you do you load up your cart. Not only can you use ERIC, E-R-I-C-K, as your promo code at checkout and get $30 off, you'll get a credit for $30 off your next order at Omaha Steaks, and everything right now is half off. So not only do you get incredible savings at Omaha Steaks out of the gate with everything half off, and you get a $30 credit for a future purchase. You also get $30 off your order this time, in addition to the 50% savings, by just putting Eric in as your promo code at checkout. Go to omahasteaks.com today. Incredible savings, incredible value. Get the bacon wrap fillets if you can find them. They're very popular because I talk about them. My wife loves the caramel apple tartlets. You can get the New York strips, some of the best New York strips. You get them from Omaha Steaks. Get their burgers, so much more. omahasteaks.com. Use Eric, E-R-I-C-K, as your promo code at checkout. You get $30 off. If you don't know what to get, just put Eric in the search bar, and they'll show you some great options at omahasteaks.com. Eric in the promo code at checkout for $30 off. And everything right now, site-wide, 50% off.
Your business needs a network it can count on.
Power's out.
Comcast Business has you covered, with Wi-Fi backup to help keep your business up and running, even when your power goes out.
Everybody in the warehouse good?
Lights are out, but the Wi-Fi's up. Let's power on.
It's from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
Break room, you good?
Can't microwave my burrito, but Wi-Fi's fine. Let's power on.
Power on with the leader in connectivity, Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Learn how to get Comcast Business Internet, Security Edge, and Wi-Fi backup for $59 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement when you add Comcast Business Mobile Unlimited. Plus, for a limited time, find out how to get an $800 holiday bonus prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Don't wait. Call or go online to ComcastBusiness.com today. Ends 12/15/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 300 megabit per second internet, Security Edge, and Connection Pro. EcoBill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Good afternoon, it's 2 o'clock, and I'm Veronica Waters. WSB's top local story this hour: a mother killed in a drive-by shooting in Suwanee. She was not the intended target. Suwanee Police Captain Robert Thompson tells Channel 2 Action News the suspect opened fire on Baxley Village Trail, hitting the woman who was in her kitchen at the time. The suspect's car tires got flattened when he hit another vehicle trying to speed away.
As the suspect was driving away, obviously he couldn't go very far, but he did make it to his residence.
Tom says his residence is just a few houses away from the home that he hit. Police arrested him while he was trying to get away in a different car. The woman was in her 40s. It is now 52 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. Breezy highs reaching up to the low 50s under sunny skies today, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Lows dip back into the mid-30s overnight. Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is coming up. It is set to be an extremely busy day at the Atlanta airport as Georgians kick off their Thanksgiving travel plans.
Airport officials say today will likely be the busiest day at the airport over the holiday, with about 370,000 travelers expected. The TSA's Anissa Kareem says they hope to keep security lines under 30 minutes.
There may be occasions where wait times may be longer, so we encourage passengers to arrive early and pack your patience.
Officials recommend getting to the airport 2.5 hours ahead of a domestic flight if you're traveling during the holiday. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
Today is a great day to make sure your youngest passengers are safe and secure. Gwinnett Police are providing a free child seat checkup at the Santa Fe Mall in Duluth from 10 a.m. Today. Specialists on hand to teach proper child seat installation and ensure your car seat is suitable for your child's age, height, and weight. Former Florida Representative Matt Gaetz tells a podcaster he won't return to Congress after withdrawing from consideration as the next U.S. Attorney General. His seat will be filled by special election. Trump's nominee for the nation's top law enforcement official has been under investigation for sex trafficking and drug use. Sean Diddy Combs is expected back in New York City court today. The music mogul's defense team making another case to get him out of jail on bail. He's facing several federal charges, including sex trafficking, all of which he denies. Looking for good online content creation ideas? Well, little tip for you. Maybe don't film yourself shoplifting.
Gotta admit, she made it pretty easy for police in Florida. They caught a robbery suspect who allegedly outed herself on TikTok. The woman filmed herself going on a shopping spree at Target. When she went to the self-checkout, she used a bogus barcode, which she also filmed.
And correspondent Sherry Preston says police then were able to promptly track down Marlena Velez at home, where she proudly displayed her illegal $500 haul for her 300,000 followers. It's 2:02. Live team coverage of traffic and weather next.
Hey, Belinda here, and I have Barry Petrie, Director of Virtual Imaging. Barry has a very interesting testimonial I want him to share with our listeners. Barry, tell us your story.
Belinda, I'm 55. I'm in good shape. I work out every day and took this job about a year ago. Unfortunately, I started having some symptoms about 3 or 4 months ago, so I decided to scan myself. Learned that I had a very high calcium score, and especially most of that was in my LAD, which you know is the Widowmaker. Long story short, I had my first stent put in about 6 weeks ago at Northside, and I feel great. I did not realize that I had lost a gear, and I've got that gear back. And I would have been one of those people that probably would have dropped dead looking perfectly healthy at 60 if I had not taken this role and did that scan.
Oh, wow. Folks, that story hits home. What are you waiting for? Go to Virtual Imaging and get a complimentary heart scan with few minimum requirements for you and your spouse. Call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or visit virtualimagingatl.com.
If I said to focus your energy, where would you start? Let's say you run a business, a school campus, a hospital, or a government facility. Finding ways to save can be overwhelming, but Georgia Power has energy efficiency tips and rebates to help. Things like improving lighting with LEDs, making HVAC upgrades, adding building controls, and more. Look, you've got a business to run and numbers to hit. Georgia Power can help you focus your energy where it matters most. Learn more at georgiapower.com/biz.
Hey, it's Ashley Frasca from the traffic team. And you know, when I report traffic every morning, I hear from people that are jammed up. They are bumper to bumper, and there's not enough room to move on the Atlanta roads. You know that. So let me ask you, is the storage at your business like that? Do you feel like you've outgrown your space? Shipping Containers for You has the perfect solution. Shipping Containers for You has 40-foot and 20-foot containers that can be delivered to you within days. Go to shippingcontainersforyou.com. Find the shipping container that you need for your home or business and have it delivered within days.
Norwegian Cruise Line's Black Friday preview sale is finally here. Enjoy huge savings with 50% off all cruises and NCL's all-new More at Sea package, including unlimited open bar, specialty dining, and more. Visit ncl.com, call your travel advisor, or 1-888-NCL-CRUISE. Offer ends soon. Norwegian Cruise Line ships registry the Bahamas and USA. Restrictions apply.
2:05, live team coverage of traffic and weather begins right now with Veronica Harrell live in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
And good afternoon to you, Veronica. Right now, dealing with delays over on the East Freeway as a crash tries to clear from the left lane. I-20 westbound at Panola Road, exit 71. Over on the south side, dealing with brake lights 75 northbound from before Highway 155. Trying to make your way out of the Locust Grove area, you stay slow over to Jodico Road. And downtown now all jammed in both directions, 75, 85 north and south. I'm Veronica Harrell, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. A few clouds passing by, breezy and chilly. Daytime highs in the upper 40s to low 50s. Clear and cold tonight, lows in the mid 30s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 56. Sunday, mostly sunny, morning low 39, afternoon high 62.
51 degrees right now in Cartersville. It's 52 in Clarkston and 53 in Midtown Atlanta. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, conversationalists. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number 877-973-7425. The state of Florida is now recommending taking fluoride out of drinking water. Good luck to those of you with kids and the cavities and dental. You know, when they did that up in Canada, the dental injuries or dental problems for kids went up 700%. There actually is no tie between IQ loss and the amount of level of fluoride in drinking water. If there was, the people of Singapore would be vastly stupider than the people here instead of smarter, because they have higher concentrations of fluoride in their drinking water than we do here. But, you know, it's the it thing among conservatives today. You got to be at war with fluoride or you're insufficiently MAGA or something. It's just people have gotten stupid, and not because of the fluoride. But nonetheless, I digress. No, we're not taking fluoride calls because anyone who's opposed to fluoride is too stupid to talk to. They probably believe in chemtrails too. I know some of you out there, but I don't want the fluoride in my water, and as your teeth have fallen out. I am going to move on to breaking news. There is a report from CNN, it appears. My friend Kelly Loeffler is going to be appointed Secretary of Agriculture. She's the former Georgia senator. She and her husband own the New York Stock Exchange. She's been a big supporter of Donald Trump's, a fundraiser for Donald Trump, and actually she is the perfect person for the job. Why is that, you say? Well, Secretary Secretary of Agriculture Loeffler actually is from Iowa or Illinois. Iowa, I think. She's from a family of farmers. Her father was a farmer. Her mother was a farmer. Her brother is still a farmer. And she is still invested in the family farming business. She knows farms, and that's what the Secretary of Agriculture does. She also knows crops. When she was the senator in Georgia, had a hurricane come through, she saw the direct impact of how FEMA dragging its feet impacted South Georgia farmers. She understands the farm industry in Georgia. She also understands the issues with ag futures and trading in commodities. That's kind of her background in finance. She's actually the perfect, Illinois, that is right. Bloomington, Illinois. She's from very near where my mother-in-law's family's from in southern Illinois. I got to tell you guys. Okay, side note, because I'm on the radio up in Illinois. My mother-in-law's family is from a small town in southern Illinois called El Dorado, Illinois. Now, here's the thing. I've only been up there a couple of times, and the way you get there is you go up to Kentucky, and you cross the Ohio River into southern Illinois. Now, you can go up through Paducah if you want. But we went through, what was it? We went through Shawneetown, I believe it was. And, what's that, Carmi? Okay, yeah. And, Jim knows what I'm talking about. And went to El Dorado, Illinois. It is outside of Harrisburg. Yeah, we went across there from Morganfield, Kentucky, across the Ohio River. And I got to tell you guys, it is nothing but agriculture. It is corn and soybeans as far as the eye can see. So my mother-in-law is from El Dorado, which is a small town north of Harrisburg. In fact, when we stayed there, we stayed at a hotel in Harrisburg and would just drive up to El Dorado. It is a small area, and it is filled with farms. And Kelly Loeffler is from that community. And she knows farming. And she knows what the weather does to farms. She knows the need for rain. She understands the water rights issues. She understands the mechanical needs issues. She understands the push by the Biden administration to try to electrify farming equipment. Now, this is something I don't know if you guys appreciate this, because it sounds so dumb. It's one of those things where it just can't be true. But it's very true. It's very true. The Biden administration, in addition to trying to push you and me into electric vehicles, have been trying to push farmers to electrify their farm equipment. In fact, at the gathering in August, Senator Loeffler and I were on stage having this conversation. The number of incentives farmers have to try to electrify their equipment. In fact, one of the things the Biden administration has done through regulation in the ag department was to drive up the costs of mechanical replacement for farmers to push them into electrification. I don't know if you know this or not, but when you're harvesting thousands of acres with your combine, the weight of that vehicle is extraordinary. You add the batteries to it, you compound the weight. You compound the weight, this thing is going over dirt, not pavement. It's getting into the ground. It's tearing up the field already with its weight. It's going to be even worse with the battery. But wait, there's more. Farmers, I stop me if you've heard this one before, but there's this thing called weather. And farmers are not going to harvest a lot of crops when it's raining. The reason is because they don't want the corn or the soybeans or even the hay to be wet when they harvest it because it'll get moldy. So if you're rushing to harvest your field and get the crops out of the field before the rain comes, and you got to stop because, oh my God, the combine, it's out of juice. I got to run the extension cord out here and plug it in and wait. Guess what? You're going to ruin your crop as the rain comes in, waiting for your combine to charge. As opposed to, let me go fill it up with some extra diesel and away we go. It's stupidity. So Kelly Loeffler, the rumor is at Mar-a-Lago, she'll be announced today as the Secretary of Agriculture. She'll be a fantastic pick. She is extremely smart. She is one of the smartest people I know. She is extremely empathetic to the plight of farmers in this country, having come from a family of farmers, which her brother still is. She has lots of stories about the absurdity of Biden administration regulations on her family farm. She knows this issue. A lot of people will look and say this maybe isn't an appropriate pick. Her background is finance. Actually, her background is agriculture and ag commodities. It translated into finance. So yeah, I mean, this is a really good pick. And also, it seems like given the agriculture production of Georgia, it kind of makes sense that you would have someone from Georgia being the Secretary of Agriculture. Sonny Perdue, the former governor of Georgia, was Donald Trump's Secretary of Agriculture the first time, and now Kelly Loeffler will be the Secretary of Agriculture for Donald Trump the second time. So Trump will have had two people from the state of Georgia serving as Secretary of Agriculture. She'll be an easy confirmation in the U.S. Senate as well. She's not a controversial pick. She is right for the job. She knows it. This is a very good pick by Donald Trump. Somebody the other day came after me and attacked me and said, you have criticized Donald Trump for every single one of his cabinet picks, which isn't true at all. He's got a lot of good picks. Sean Duffy, John Ratcliffe, Marco Rubio, Jay Bhattacharya, now Kelly Loeffler to the mix, Linda McMahon for education, which is kind of a curious one, I do have to say, because she doesn't really have a background in anything related to that. However, she does have a background from when she was the Small Business Administration advisor chair of block grants. She knows how to block grant. And that's how Donald Trump wants to end the Department of Education. You cannot get rid of the Department of Education as President of the United States. Why is that? Because it was legislatively created by Congress, and Congress hasn't repealed it. But what the president can do, if Congress is amenable, is to block grant everything. One of the things the media is going to do is they're going to scream about Pell Grants, and they're going to scare people about Pell Grants. In fact, a buddy of mine reached out to me the other day, said he's got cousins in college, and Democrats are already telling him that their Pell Grants are going to go away thanks to Donald Trump because he wants to get rid of the Department of Education. Except the Pell Grant was congressionally authorized. So a president can't get rid of a congressionally authorized Pell Grant. What he can do, however, is block grant the money per capita by state and allow the states to administer the program and get the bureaucracy out of Washington, D.C., which should be done anyway. It will lower costs and make things more efficient. The idea that you must depend on the federal government for everything is ridiculous. Frankly, I think we could probably at this point in our nation's history get rid of the Agriculture Department and get rid of the Education Department and get rid of the Post Office and get rid of Veterans Affairs, roll them back into the Pentagon with the Department of Defense, and get rid of Health and Human Services and block grant all that stuff. There are plenty of cabinet positions we do not necessarily need. The Departments of Labor and Commerce, combine them. We need state, we need defense, although I'd rename it back to war. We need the Justice Department and we need the Treasury Department, and I'm just not sure after the big four cabinet picks that we really need all the rest of those cabinet picks. You'd have a great land sale and real estate deal in Washington, D.C. if you got rid of them. Not that we're going to, because it'll take an act of Congress to get rid of them. But like, for example, Doug Collins, also from Georgia, has been picked to be Secretary of Veterans Affairs. He, my friends, is going to be great. There are few, so the irony here is that Doug Collins and Kelly Loeffler ran against each other. But I got to tell you, I like them both dearly. And Doug Collins is a prayer warrior for my wife. That guy texts me regularly to check on my family. I love the man. He is a wonderful human being. And he was a great member of Congress. He will be fantastic as the Veterans Affairs Secretary because he has a passion for helping veterans. And one of the problems that Veterans Affairs has is it has been overwhelmed in the VA situation with these hospitals that just don't work for veterans. And Doug Collins is someone who's not going to go into this position and think I got to preserve the VA healthcare system when in fact there may be better solutions for veterans. I have way too many friends who are veterans of this country, who are trapped in VA healthcare programs, who have horrible, horrible horror stories. We have a friend who got COVID, who because of the role he played in the military has some health issues and relies on the VA. And he could not get any help for COVID. He had a horrible case of COVID. He was bedridden for multiple weeks, and he couldn't even get the antiviral medicine from the VA. They told him he would have to come sit in the waiting room and see a doctor. He literally had no one who could take him. I mean, I was out of town. My wife can't be around people with COVID. She's got stage 4 lung cancer. He laid in bed for multiple weeks. He couldn't get to the VA. He could get to the doctor. There's literally a doctor's office down the street, but he couldn't go there because the VA wouldn't cover it. See, I don't understand it. This blows my mind. We have people in this country who are willing to die for this country, and we force them into third world health care when they get out of the military, as opposed to saying, thank you for your service. You go to any doctor on planet Earth you wish to see, and we will cover the cost. It seems to me that if you are willing to die for the United States of America, we should be willing to cover your costs at whichever doctor you wish to go to when you get out of the military. But instead, too many of our veterans are forced to go into a VA system where they sit and wait in the VA hospital until somebody comes by and realizes, they're dead, one less patient to have to deal with. That's why I'm excited about having Doug Collins there. He will be a fantastic Secretary of Veterans Affairs. And Kelly Loeffler understands farming. She's a fantastic pick. These are solid picks from Georgia for Donald Trump. Georgia and Florida seem to be leading the way for his picks. I'm okay with that. Although I'm sure people from other states will be saying, what about us? Well, get good people like Kelly Loeffler and Doug Collins, and then you too can have cabinet picks.
Want to be on the show?
Hello? I'd love your show.
Call Eric now at 877-973-7425.
220 in the Coolwick Carrier WSB 24-hour traffic center. Where crash is cleared. I-20 westbound around Panola Road, exit 71. However, you're still dealing with some tough delays as you make your way out of the city of Stonecrest. This report brought to you by Affordable Dentures and Implants. Get your smile back. Affordable Dentures and Implants in the Atlanta area. Make new smiles affordable every day. Call 1-800-DENTURE for the location near you. Affordable Dentures and Implants. Go ahead and smile. Elsewhere downtown, ride just volume 75-85 north and southbound. Packed in between Langford 166 in Midtown. I'm Veronica Harrell, 95.5 WSB.
Stay connected to Atlanta's news, weather, and traffic with the 95.5 WSB app. Listen to Atlanta's morning news. EVH, Eric Erickson, Mark Aram, and Shelley Winter. No matter where you go. 95.5 WSB and the WSB app. Download it today or find us in the iHeart and Odyssey apps.
Hi, I'm David Nicholas, financial advisor and president of Nicholas Wealth Management. But most importantly, I'm a husband and a father. The three most important things in my life are faith, family, and freedom. Unfortunately, I think we're facing threats to all three. The yahoos in Washington want to erode our wealth by inflation, regulation, and out-of-control spending. Deficits, robbed Social Security, and inflation have devalued our dollar and made raising a family nearly impossible. And frankly, I'm sick and tired of it. The federal government is 40% bigger today than it was before COVID. I think that means taxes are going higher. Don't let higher taxes devastate your retirement accounts. At Nicholas Wealth, we have CPAs and CFPs that can show you how to shelter your retirement accounts from higher taxes. Our Retire Ready tax analysis is a $1,000 value but we'll provide it completely complimentary for callers who have saved more than $250,000 for retirement and give us a call in the next 10 minutes. The number to call is 404-890-5606. That's 404-890-5606. Or you can go to nicholaswealth.com.
Nicholas Wealth is an independent financial services firm that uses a variety of different investment strategies. This is prepared for informational purposes only. It does not address specific investment objectives or the financial situation and the needs of any person. This is a paid advertisement.
Hey, it's Mark Aram here with an amazing way to make this a stress-free holiday season. Heat and serve traditional feasts from my friends at Publix. Order now and make your holiday gathering one to remember. Check out the turkey dinner. It includes a fully cooked turkey, old-fashioned cornbread dressing, delicious home-style Yukon Gold mashed potatoes, cranberry orange relish, marshmallow delight, and no Thanksgiving is complete without delicious home-style gravy. Just make sure you order these items in advance. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Cars for Kids accepts all kinds of real estate donations. Turn your challenging or unused property into a brighter future for kids and get a tax deduction for the full appraised value of your property. Visit carsforkids.org or call today. That's Cars for Kids Real Estate.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your real estate.
Hurry! It's our last chance to donate for 2024.
Your business needs a network it can count on.
Power's out.
Comcast Business has you covered with Wi-Fi backup to help keep your business up and running, even when your power goes out.
Everybody in the warehouse good? Lights are out, but the Wi-Fi's up. Let's power on.
It's from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
Break room, you good?
Can't microwave my burrito, but Wi-Fi's fine. Let's power on.
Power on with the leader in connectivity, Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Learn how to get Comcast Business Internet, Security Edge, and Wi-Fi backup for $59 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement when you add Comcast Business Mobile Unlimited. Plus, for a limited time, find out how to get an $800 holiday bonus prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Don't wait. Call or go online to ComcastBusiness.com today. Ends 12/15/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 300 megabit per second internet, Security Edge, and Connection Pro. EcoBill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change.
The holidays are a magical time to get engaged. At Shane Company, we're here to help you create your dream engagement ring in just 3 easy steps. Choose a setting that speaks to your style. Compare diamonds and colorful gemstones in all shapes and sizes. Then personalize it with a decorative crown and special engraving. Or choose a perfectly preset ring that's ready to go. At Shane Company, you'll find everyday competitive prices, a no-pressure environment, and an unmatched free lifetime warranty. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
You can be live on Eric's show by calling 877-97-ERIC. That's 877-973-7425.
All righty, how's about a phone call here? 877-973-7425. Dwayne, you're up next. Welcome.
Hey, good to talk with you.
Thank you.
You were talking about regulations and what they would pass right before they left office. But I know you remember back in 2000 when Clinton was leaving, and they were doing a study about how much arsenic was in the water. And so right before he left, he said, well, let's just go ahead and put that in place. And it was like reducing it from 5 parts per billion to 1 part, some tiny little thing. But when W comes in, he says, no, that's going to cost all the little water utilities millions of dollars. We need to keep studying this. Do you remember?
I do remember now.
And within a month of him taking office, they were running commercials on television about W wanting to put arsenic in the water. You remember that?
Yep, I do. That's such a good. Man, you got a great memory, Dwayne. I had totally forgotten about that until you resurrected that memory. I totally do. It's the same thing with the homelessness issue when W came into office. Suddenly, they started screaming about all the homeless camps around the country that the Clinton administration, they didn't want to do anything about, and suddenly homeless came back into the news. Yes, the arsenic one. I totally forgot about that, though. You're absolutely right. So let me, now I've refreshed and I've also Googled. Yes, so the government was studying arsenic in water. It's at so little parts per million, and it's naturally occurring. And like in many cases, fluoride is naturally occurring in water. And the Clinton administration decided they needed to get local municipalities to reduce the level of arsenic in water, even though there actually wasn't a cause to be shown that reducing it further than it already is naturally occurring was worth it. But they wanted to do it anyway. So when Bush comes in, he puts a pause on that regulation and says that now we haven't actually decided if this is determinative to healthcare outcomes. And the media reported it as he's going to poison people with arsenic in water. No, actually, all it was he was leaving things where they had always been. It's like, honestly, it is like the fluoride situation to a degree in that fluoride is naturally occurring. Like in Israel, Israel got rid of fluoride mandates in local water because the sources of water in Israel naturally produce the fluoride levels that in many parts of this country we put in water. But for people who freak out about fluoride in water in this country, when Calgary, Canada got rid of fluoride in water, their dental issues for kids went up 700%. Singapore actually puts more fluoride in its water than anywhere in the United States puts in its water, and yet no one is freaked out about Singaporean kids being stupid. In fact, in this country, they want to do Singapore math now because they say it's better. All it is repackaged Common Core. It really has nothing to do with Singapore, but that's what they call it because they think the kids in Singapore are smart, even though they have more fluoride in water than we do. Now, I want you to be smart and go to visioncomputers.com to get your next computer. They can build you what you need and what you want, and they can give you their 5-star service. Call them at 404-COMPUTER. Go to visioncomputers.com. Now, listen, one of the things they do, if you get a computer from them, they'll migrate everything over. So you're not going to lose your emails. You're not going to lose your files. You're not going to have to rebuy all of your applications. They're just going to migrate everything over to your new computer for you, make it seamless for you to operate. And you'll have them, if you get your computer from them, and if you have any questions at all, you'll get a special number to call, and you won't go through the calling +1, press 3, +2, +3, press 1. You'll just get somebody to answer the phone and answer your questions. So call them at 404-COMPUTE today. See how quick they answer that number. 404-COMPUTE. Tell them I sent you. You'll save even more money. And if you want their 5-star support, you just call them at 404-COMPUTE. Tell them Eric sent you. It's $179 a year per computer. $179 a year. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com. Any of you can take advantage of it nationwide.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 2:30. I'm Veronica Waters. WSB's top stories we're following for you this half hour. Suwannee police are wrapping up the investigation of a drive-by shooting which took the life of a mother working in her kitchen today. The 42-year-old victim was the unintended target of the accused shooter, who police say lived just a few houses away in the neighborhood along Baxley Village Trail. The suspect was slowed in his getaway when he sped into another car and flattened the tires on his own vehicle. That allowed police time to get there and catch up with him as he was trying to get away in a different car. The guy was targeting the woman's son, police say. Motive so far unknown. Thanksgiving is next week, of course, and the holiday travel period is in full swing today. This is expected to be the busiest day at the Atlanta airport this holiday weekend. The TSA's Anissa Karim says they're working to make sure there are plenty of officers at security checkpoints to account for this jump in travelers.
We will do our best to screen standard passengers in under 30 minutes and passengers enrolled in TSA PreCheck in under 10 minutes.
Over 370,000 travelers are expected to pass through Hartsfield-Jackson today. A man and woman from out of state plead guilty after being stopped in Coweta County with a huge stash of drugs.
Keisha Jackson Murchison of Massachusetts is stopped for speeding on I-85 in Coweta County. Police find several bags of marijuana in the car. They arrest her passenger, Oscar Waters, a convicted drug dealer from Virginia. She grabs a backpack and large duffel bag, runs across 3 lanes of traffic barefoot. After catching her in the woods, officers find fentanyl, powder, and crack cocaine and heroin in those bags. Police say Waters hired Jackson Murchison to drive to Alabama, where Waters intended to distribute the drugs. Sentencing for both is set for February. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz ex-Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz says he will not be returning to office after withdrawing his name from consideration to be Donald Trump's next attorney general. His seat will remain vacant, meaning it will have to be filled by special election. It's 2:32, live team coverage of traffic and weather just ahead.
Skip the hassle and sell your home with the strongest cash offer this fall. The guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate is the easiest way to sell your home. It's Eric Erickson, and with the guaranteed offer, you can skip the uncertainty, sell your home fast for all cash in as little as 21 days. Mark Spain Real Estate's been serving families for nearly 30 years and has helped over 58,000 satisfied clients. Trust the top real estate team in the U.S. to sell your home fast and for maximum profit. Go to markspain.com and find out what your guaranteed offer would be and start packing.
Make the most of your holidays with the Kroger app. You can enjoy over $600 in digital coupons every week, get access to low prices, and earn fuel points to save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. The Kroger app makes it easy to save this holiday season. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Fuel restrictions apply.
Save big on 12 packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or Canada Dry. Select varieties or buy 2, get 3 free with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Sherry, what have you done to your hair?
What do you mean? Does it not look good?
It doesn't look good. It looks freaking amazing. I can't believe how thick and healthy it looks. Oh, I must know your secret.
No secret. It's Hair Volume from New Nordic.
Hair volume, huh? Well, it certainly lives up to its name. Your hair has never looked so thick. It is gorgeous.
I was so tired of having thin and brittle hair. Ugh, and the shedding. So I figured I'd give Hair Volume a try. Needless to say, I'm thrilled with the results. Hey, where are you going?
I'm going to pick up some Hair Volume right now. My reunion's next month and I want my hair to look as good as yours.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural health products from New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Scandinavia. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or your local Walgreens, Rite Aid, or CVS. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Help your hair look full, voluminous, and beautiful again at newnordicusa.com, Walgreens, Rite Aid, or CVS.
As you all know, it's Eric here, by the way. I have been traveling a lot. Before the election and after the election, it's been nonstop travel. And all I've wanted to do was get in my hot tub in the backyard and watch the stars and just relax. Thanks to Georgia Spa Company, I'm able to do it. In fact, my wife, who trains for strongman competition, we got one from Georgia Spa Company that actually has a lounge, I guess you can say, a chaise lounge with the massagers for the muscles, and she's been using it too. Super relaxing, very quiet, very therapeutic, an oasis in our backyard. And right now, if you're thinking about one, well, you got Black Friday coming up, and they've got some incredible sales going on at the Georgia Spa Company. They've got 6 Metro Atlanta locations. You can check them out at georgiaspacompany.com. You get an oasis in your backyard, your own personal retreat, and I can tell you, someone who's put in thousands of miles in just the last few weeks, all I want to do is get to my backyard. georgiaspacompany.com.
It's 2:35. Live team coverage of traffic and weather begins with a quick update now from WSB's Veronica Harrell.
And right now, watching delays because of a vehicle fire. It blocks the 285 southbound outer loop ramp to Hollowell Parkway exit 12. Delays stretch back before South Atlanta Road. Avoid. I'm Veronica Harrell, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies, breezy and chilly today. Highs in the upper 40s, low 50s. Wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour.
Right now, 53 degrees at 2:35 on 95.5 WSB.
The morning rush hour, evening rush hour, and everything in between.
The through lanes are jammed up as you leave Marietta.
Tune in 24/7 with the Triple Team Traffic Center.
Stoppage either side as you merge north and south on the connector.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
Crowd is coming up from the East Freeway on 285 northbound.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Comcast is putting MSNBC up for sale, along with the whole cable package. So it's MSNBC and CNBC and the Sci-Fi Channel and USA Network. The only thing they're keeping in-house is Bravo and NBC. They're even selling the Golf Channel. Would it not be funny if, and he seems like he's interested in doing it, if Elon Musk bought MSNBC? That would be really funny. The meltdown would be hysterical. As an aside, MSNBC is not a profitable network. Morning Joe generates most of the revenue. So much of MSNBC is progressive opinion. They don't have a lot of people. Do you know roughly 50 to 90,000 people total watch MSNBC on the weekend? And they're even their major stars like Rachel Maddow and the like, they don't get, so advertisers only care about people aged 25 to 54. MSNBC does not get a lot of 25 to 54-year-old watchers. Fox News gets more. MSNBC gets a lot of elderly progressives. And advertisers don't care about elderly progressives. Now, I want to move on, but I want to go to Jackie first. Jackie's been waiting very patiently. Jackie, welcome to the Erick Erickson Show. How are you?
I'm good, and thank you. I appreciate you very much.
Sure.
I have been a Tulsi Gabbard fan for a couple of years, and I didn't realize how controversial she is. And exactly, I don't know exactly what it's about, but I'd like your opinion on her for the intelligence position, and if you think she's going to be confirmed.
Oh, absolutely. So, Jackie, I'll tell you, she's not my favorite politician, but I will be as objective as I can. She served in the military. She enlisted in the Hawaii National Guard. She deployed to Iraq. She served in logistics. She actually wound up not seeking re-election in Hawaii state legislature because of her service. Then she went to officer candidate school. She was commissioned as a second lieutenant. And you can't detract from her and her service. She then got elected to the House of Representatives. And she served her stint in local government in Hawaii and the like. Here are my problems with Tulsi Gabbard. I'm not a huge fan of like aggressive libertarianism. Look, I like small government and all that, but she's from the left-wing branch, the progressive branch of libertarianism. I think she's descended too much into, for example, she likes Edward Snowden. I think he's a traitor. She has called Bashar al-Assad in Syria a victim. I don't think he is. I think he's a monster. I think that she has viewed herself as a truth teller, and I think she's bought into some of the crazy stuff out there. That being said, I have policy disagreements with Tulsi Gabbard. She is a veteran of this country's military. And if Donald Trump wants her to be the director of national intelligence, I can't muster myself to care enough to oppose her when I look at the horrible people, John Brennan and others that Obama surrounded himself with, Susan Powers and the like. Tulsi Gabbard, it would be far better than any of them to be director of national intelligence. I think that her inclinations on the world stage are not great. For example, she has questioned Japan's willingness to defend itself against China. She has been right in her support of the Armenian population against Azerbaijan, and was willing to speak out against Turkey on the Armenian genocide. I don't like her position on Ukraine. I think she's been too friendly to Vladimir Putin, but it's complex. There are things I agree with her on, things I disagree with her on. But again, I'm like that with everyone. There are things I agree with, things I disagree with. If Donald Trump wants her as director of national intelligence, John Ratcliffe is going to be in charge of the CIA. He's brilliant. He's great. And if Donald Trump wants Tulsi Gabbard in the administration, if Obama wants John Brennan, who is a horrible, horrible human being who lied about the Hunter Biden files, who's regularly on television lying about Donald Trump, how can I say no to Tulsi Gabbard, who's better than any of those people? That's my view. Not my favorite, but also Donald Trump should be able to have a pick like this. She's not a Matt Gaetz. She doesn't have those skeletons. She's not Robert Kennedy, who is just not a good human being, whose sexual habits induced his wife's suicide. Let her be the director of national intelligence. She'll either be good or she won't. If she's not, Trump will get rid of her. Victor, Orlando, Florida, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show, Victor. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. Thank you, Eric. I had a question about Trump Merchan. The Judge Merchan, since he delayed the sentencing indefinitely, is the appeals for the conviction for Trump still going on in that case, or is everything on hold until they decide whether to
that's a good question. So they have not procedurally made. So let me back up. Legally, after the judge renders verdict in a case, there are a series of procedural steps, including sentencing and things like that, that happen before appeal. The Trump team has not yet made all of its appeals because the actual local court case hasn't concluded. If Merchan if they're settling everything and then pushing off sentencing until 2028, 2029, as some are speculating might happen, then I think the Trump team can do all of their appeals. But they haven't mounted the appeal yet because they haven't had final resolution at the trial court level. This is one reason as well. So, for example, Merchan is still entertaining the dismissal motion. He's asked the Trump team to prepare their motion to dismiss by December 2nd, and will give the Alvin Bragg team until December 9th to respond to that motion. It's a very short amount of time. I'm wondering if he's going to dismiss the case. Because let's be honest here, the entirety of the Trump case was lawfare. The entirety of the Trump case was about trying to stop Donald Trump from getting elected. And they've lost now. He's gotten elected. Might as well dismiss it. I don't know how it'll play out, but postponing sentencing until after Trump gets out of the presidency is just a dumb thing to do. Now, speaking of New York and Alvin Bragg cases, there's the Daniel Penny case. Satish Shundru is a forensic pathologist who has testified for the defense team. And said Daniel Penny, if you're not familiar with this case, this is the man who put Jordan Neely in a chokehold. Jordan Neely was a schizophrenic who was harassing people on a subway train. Daniel Penny was a tourist who had come into New York. Jordan Neely was harassing people, threatening people, menacing people. Daniel Penny had been in the military, put Jordan Neely in a chokehold, and Jordan Neely died. And instead of heralding Daniel Penny as a hero for protecting the people on the train from a dangerous schizophrenic, Alvin Bragg is prosecuting him as a murderer. It has come up in the trial that Jordan Neely was still alive when the police got there. He still had a heartbeat, and he died in police custody. But they charged Daniel Penny with his murder. The forensic pathologist said that Neely passed away from the combined effects of sickle cell crisis, schizophrenia, struggle and restraint, and synthetic marijuana in his system. Synthetic marijuana amplifies schizophrenia. He had sickle cell, and he had increased risk of cardiac death between synthetic marijuana, the drugs in his system, the schizophrenia, the sickle cell. And it is not in dispute at this point that Daniel Penny did not kill him. In fact, they've released a video of Daniel Penny in custody, and it is very clear his intention was not to kill Jordan Neely, but to restrain him when the chokehold. And in fact, we know that he was still alive. Jordan Neely was. When the police got there, he still had a pulse. He still had a heartbeat. The doctor says Neely was rendered unconscious, but was not the cause of death. Now, this is being disputed by the state's medical examiner, you should know. Two sides to the story there. But my overarching issue is when this happened, the conversations on MSNBC and elsewhere from the left were that when you're on a subway train in New York City, you expect to be harassed by schizophrenic homeless people. That was actually an argument made. I think it was Torre, that guy, somebody, I don't know what happened to that guy. But I think it was him. Don't hold me to that. But it was people on the left, not just him, who made the case. The problem here is that you should not expect to be harassed by homeless people who have schizophrenia anywhere. But progressives in progressive cities, where they want everybody to move into these massive urban corridors, they want to get you out of rural areas where you use your fossil fuel burning car. They want you in a battery powered public transportation system in a city. And then they think when you get there, well, you are forced to live with this hell. Daniel Penny protected people on the train, and the prosecutors who are letting bad guys out regularly, I don't know if y'all heard, but Alvin Bragg's assistant is now the victim of a Venezuelan immigrant in New York City. Daniel Penny shouldn't be prosecuted. He's not the bad guy. Even the people on the train testified they felt threatened, and Daniel Penny saved them. This gets me to Brian Williams. You remember Brian Williams? He was the NBC News anchor who lied about things related to his time abroad with the military. He was moved over to MSNBC. He's now doing something for Amazon. He was on one of the late shows the other night last night, and they were asking Brian Williams. I think he was on with Stephen Colbert. Don't hold me to that. But they asked him about the Democrats' loss in the election. Listen to Brian Williams.
I think it's insulting when members of the working class, which the Democratic Party has lost entirely in our lifetimes, to insist the economy is doing great. A 12-pack of Bounty is $40. Rich folks don't feel that. Poor folks already switched to Sparkle during the COVID, during the lockdown. And I think telling them that the NASDAQ is gangbusters is further insulting. It's insulting. I think the biggest unforced error of the Biden administration by far was the border. To tell people it's not a problem is insulting. For the working class to see incoming migrants getting welcome bags, debit cards, and motel rooms is probably insulting as well. So there's a lot of work to do. You know, it was when they handed out camo hats that said Harris Walls, and the Democrats they were kind of charmed by that. Their party has gone quinoa, and the rest of America's eating at Cracker Barrel. And so it was kind of an ironic use of something millions of Americans put on their heads to start their day every day. Yeah, they need to reach out to America again.
Yes, they do. That would be advisable, and that I guess he was on the Late Show when he said that. Yes, with Seth Meyers. It was with Seth Meyers. Yes, the Democrats have lost touch with people, and when you're in a city and a man comes in who protects the people on the train from a schizophrenic homeless man who's turned violent, and you make him the bad guy, you've completely lost touch with people. I sure hope the jury rejects the prosecution here. It's going to say a lot about New York one way or the other with this verdict. Now, there's plenty of other things going on out there in the world today and lots of chaos out there. And through it all, Swiss America has been warning people about a secret war on cash. They've been the trusted leader in precious metals in this country for 40 years. If you're interested in safeguarding your hard-earned cash from the secret war on cash, you need their free report. They're rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. Swiss America can educate you on protecting your assets in their shocking report, The Secret War on Cash, which tells you exactly how the government is trying to monitor your spending purchases. It takes less than 15 minutes to read. It can save you on your retirement and finances. It'll be eye-opening to you about the lack of anonymity in the purchases you think are anonymous. All you have to do to get the report is to call or text 800-289-2646. The All-Out War on Cash includes digital forms of currency. The government is tracking everything. Reach out to Swiss America. Just mention my name, Eric, E-R-I-C-K, when you call or text 800-289-2646. That's 800-289-2646. The report is completely free from Swiss America. Just text my name, Eric, or call and mention me to 800-289-2646. Message and data rates may apply.
He'll do the research and give it to you straight. Eric Erickson is live every weekday.
250 in the Coolway Carrier WSB 24-hour traffic center. Right now, all backed up with that vehicle fire. 285 southbound, the outer loop ramp to Hollowell Parkway, exit 12. Your delays, they stretch almost back to Cobb Parkway. Give yourself a little extra time. If you're thinking about using the downtown connector, it's already a full house. 75 southbound packs in around Howell Mill. 85 southbound, you're on the brakes at Georgia 400. In the northbound side, delays stretch back before Langford. 75, 85 north. I'm Veronica Harrell, 95.5 WSB.
When news breaks,
Prosecution claims that on February 22nd, Ibarra went hunting for women on the UGA campus.
we've got it covered.
I hope justice is served for her, not only because I'm her father, but because she deserves it.
With news at the top and bottom of every hour.
And when it breaks,
I find the defendant guilty. I sentence you to life without the possibility of parole.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's breaking news station.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health, and I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Dave Baker here for Coolray, heating and cooling, plumbing, and electrical. It's a fun time of the year, but don't let a winter storm or down power lines take the power out of your holiday fun. At Brightbox Electrical, a Coolray company, you can purchase a new Generac home standby generator and receive a 5-year generator care membership. That's over $1,700 in savings. Simply schedule your appointment online at brightboxelectrical.com. Brightbox Electrical, Coolray and Carrier. Turn to the experts.
Hey, it's Eric Erickson. I've got with me Mark Spain from Mark Spain Real Estate. Mark, as you know, many people want a simple home selling experience. Can you explain why the guaranteed offer takes away all the stress and makes the process as easy as y'all make it?
Mark Spain Real Estate Guaranteed Offer eliminates the hassle of a traditional home sale by no showings, no open houses, no lock boxes. It's really a very simple process. We bring you a strong cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days, and you don't have all those crazy contingencies and crazy hurdles to overcome with a traditional home sale.
Thanks, Mark. Don't let the home sale process overwhelm you guys. As you heard Mark say, Mark Spain Real Estate's guaranteed offer allows you to bypass the market. You skip the hassle. You receive the strongest cash offer in the industry. Selling your home's a big decision. That's why who you work with matters. Go to markspain.com. Find out what your guaranteed offer will be. There's no obligation. markspain.com and start packing.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
ThisStuffMatters.net.
Join Eric's Army of Activists. Text ARMY to 33777 now.
Hello, America. Welcome. I hope you're ready for your weekend. Listen, for those of you who can't do the texting option, recipe to 33777, if you go to EW Erickson 2, EWERICKSON, then the number 2.substack.com. EWErickson2.substack.com. You can get the recipes. That's the URL to go to. So you can get your recipes when you're doing your planning. I got lots of grocery shopping to do this weekend. Because I gotta get turkeys. I stuff my turkeys with lemons and celery and onion and apple, and then I gotta get the stuff to make chocolate pie, and I gotta get the stuff to make some gumbo. I'm not telling my mother-in-law I'm making gumbo because she'll tell me it's too much food, but I gotta make gumbo if I'm gonna go see all my family, so I gotta make gumbo. There's going to be a lot of cooking in the Erickson house. And tonight I got to go to a Manchester Orchestra concert. So I'm staying in the city tonight before I head home tomorrow. And then lots of grocery shopping tomorrow. The Saturday before Thanksgiving. Everybody will be in the grocery store with me, and I'm tired of going to the grocery store. So you're not going to see me at the airport anymore, speaking of being tired of the grocery store. We had an incident on the way home from Tulsa. And listen, I've hesitated to talk about this because he didn't mean, he was very nice. But on my way into the airport, when I went to Tulsa right after the election, I got stopped by lots of people. I'm trying to get to the plane and just stop, which I was already kind of overwhelmed right after the election. But when I got back from the airport, or back from Tulsa, had a guy see me at baggage claim, and he was very nice. He was very excited about the election. He followed me down the escalator, out of the building, down the sidewalk, towards my car. And I just thought, I'm getting to the point where this guy was fine, but what about the next guy? And I now I gotta go through a different security procedure at the airport through a different place, and it's kind of like now going to restaurants in town. Like I had a very nice dinner at a restaurant on Tuesday night, and I very specifically did not say on radio anymore because I've had now people show up at it's just kind of weird. I mean, everyone is always very, very nice. Like I can say I'm going to the Manchester Orchestra concert tonight because you're not going to be able to find me there because I know where they're putting me. But wow, it has gotten a little bit surreal. I am very flattered to have as many listeners as I do now. Even the people who hate listen. There are a lot of hate listeners. Had some lady tell me earlier today, you're very smart, but you're too arrogant, and I've got to find someone else to listen to. Good luck with that. But wow, having somebody follow me to my car at the airport was kind of it. And now I got to the grocery store. I've started wearing my AirPods with the noise canceling so nobody can talk to me, and I don't mean to be that guy, but good Lord, otherwise I can't grocery shop anymore. I kind of understand why Rush Limbaugh used to say he missed going to the grocery store. It's very flattering, but also I got groceries I got to buy this weekend. Y'all do too. Get your shopping done for Thanksgiving this weekend. Everything will be fine. Start thawing your turkeys out on Sunday in the fridge.
WSB consumer expert Clark Howard.
Think how many different things you've signed up for over the years that you then don't use anymore, you forget about. But those old accounts could be the keys for a criminal to get into your life and cause havoc. Because you have an old account, you may have used a username and password that you use on other things, and the criminals nosing around trying to get in your life are able to take info from an old account, often referred to as zombies because we don't use them anymore, and then try those usernames and passwords on other things, maybe to get an Amazon account or a bank account or something like that. So what I do is, just recently I did it. I do it every year when we switch from daylight time to standard time. I go through my password list that I have a Google account manager, and I kill the ones I don't use anymore so I'm not vulnerable. I'm Clark Howard.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 3 o'clock. I'm Veronica Waters. The news this hour brought to you by Vincent Financial. WSB's top local story. It's an extremely busy day at the Atlanta airport as Georgians kick off their Thanksgiving travel plans.
Airport officials say today will likely be the busiest day at the airport over the holiday, with about